Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
If you're looking for one of these shows that just sort of eases into it in the morning, you're not quite awake for this. I mean, you might just start picking us up around 6:30 because we just dive right in.
Well, I've been up a while.
I'm not sure I'm ready for it. I'm talking to the person listening right now that their alarm goes off with the Chuck and Bo show.
Yeah.
By the way, that's half of America. I don't know if you've seen the ratings. That's half of America.
Astronomical.
It's Chuck and Bo, Fox News, and then whatever else.
And it's close at the top. Don't kid yourself.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "Let's start on the Chuck and Bo
There we
show."
go.
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
Now, I'm just going to venture a guess that most of the people who were joining us at 6:02 were not actually at the game last night, but rather are catching up this morning. Hogs won 8-3. I went to sleep when it was 8-3, and I didn't miss a thing.
I fell asleep.
I fell asleep, but it was 8-3.
What happened? Did Arkansas win?
Yes, they won. Hit a bunch of
I
home
think
runs.
the last thing I remember
They're
is
moving on.
a Logan Maxwell second home run. Mm-hmm. As I drifted off into dreamland.
Yeah. Well, they very workmanlike all weekend, never threatened. And my goodness, you look around the country and you appreciate what the Razorbacks were able to do this weekend.
This is what you want to see. It's not happening everywhere. Here's DVH after the game.
It's not easy. I mean, we've sat here 2 years in a row and we didn't get out of here. We went and won somebody else's regional in 22. In 21, we won a regional and got beat in the last game by a run to go to Omaha. I mean, I've kind of been on all sides of it. You never take it for granted at all. It's like I told the guys when we left Hoover, you have got to go earn it. Nobody's going to give you anything. You look at who's winning around the country. You know, you start thinking you're all that. You'll get it handed to you. And these guys, they stayed humble and they got after it. And we get to hang out again together for at least another week.
Other teams who aren't getting it done, hosting regionals, not getting out of their own regionals, include Texas, Georgia, Clemson, and Oregon.
Vanderbilt.
Hosting regionals, not getting out.
Arkansas is the highest national seed left.
Vandy.
Arkansas is the highest national seed left when you think about it. And, Vanderbilt and Texas, they both fell victim to not being able to get a timely base hit. And coaches lament that seemingly after every loss in baseball. And a lot of times we hear it so much it goes in one ear and out the other. But you go back and you look at those two series, and that was the story. Vanderbilt should have been 2-out. Wright State blew it on Friday night. They should have beaten them then. Vandy should have been 2-out.
Say that again. Wright State.
Wright State.
Right?
Right.
WRIGHT.
Wright State.
Wright State has
Right.
eliminated Vanderbilt.
They and Wright State ended up losing to Louisville. Louisville's advanced out of that regional, so they go to the supers. But it's tough. To me, Georgia was the most disappointing. I thought they were giving up bombs right and left. Texas and who's the other one?
Georgia.
No, Texas and Vanderbilt. They lost real baseball games, like real scores. Like 5-4, 7-4. Georgia was like, it was 13-11 or 12. They were just they just gave up too many runs to advance, and I was kind of disappointed in their performance. I thought they'd do better.
The thing you love about what happened here with Arkansas is how they played. The pitching was what you hoped it would be, and the guys that you got to have everybody, but the guys you need to be contributing are guys going to be coming up with runners on base in key positions more often than not. Guys that have done it when Arkansas was playing at their best this year were doing it this weekend.
Yeah.
They were back to being this, like the team they were when they were on their hot streak in the middle of the season. So one of the questions becomes, is that what happens when you get out of the SEC grind? When now you're not facing SEC pitching night after night? Is that what happens when your guys get on the mound and they're not facing those type of hitters 1 through 9 in the lineup? Or is Arkansas, did they go through what baseball is? It's a game of runs, streaks, weeks throughout the season where you're on, where you're off. And I think, personally, it's Arkansas's been waiting for the postseason. I'm not saying they were ever not trying to play their best or whatever, but I feel like they've been looking forward to this all season long. They've stayed in the moment. They've played every game they've had. But when the postseason reset happened, it sure looks like this is what Arkansas has been looking forward to.
Well, I think so. I don't know that – you look at the other SEC teams around the country. It didn't really help them to get out of the league. I think that Arkansas, first off, they're good. They're good all over the field. But I also think there's a professionalism to their approach, for lack of a better way to put it.
Maybe that's what I was trying to say. That's a good word for it.
And I sense that this weekend. I don't think they played their best baseball this weekend, but they were really good. And they went out there and they beat teams they were supposed to beat. But now, as we've seen, next weekend's a whole different deal. And now Tennessee's got to play tonight, to get out of that regional. Tennessee lost last night in what would have been the championship game. They're one of 4 SEC teams that are playing winner-take-all games today and tonight. So we don't know that it's going to be Tennessee. But
would you rather play Tennessee or Wake Forest?
Well, you'd rather play, if you're thinking about who's had the better year, you'd rather play Wake Forest. Tennessee's had the better year, but if you're thinking about who you'd like to beat to get to Omaha, it's probably Tennessee.
Do you fear one more than the other?
I don't think this team needs to fear anybody right now, and I don't think that means they're so much better than everybody else that they just show up and win. But I thought their approach was really good this weekend. I said last week that regionals are the wild card. Sometimes super regionals are easier to predict than regionals. We talked about pressure last week, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, that just sounds like excuse making." But pressure's real. With every run Texas-San Antonio scored, Texas's collars got a little bit tighter. Vanderbilt, watching them having to come through the losers bracket, there's pressure on every pitch. And some of those teams just didn't handle it very well. And Arkansas did. Just very workmanlike, and I think that's a good sign.
Did you see what happened to Jim Schlossnagle?
Yes.
The Texas head coach that was at A&M a year ago?
Yeah.
He's in the dugout doing an interview in-game.
Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck today.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome.
He said, giggle. Yeah. He messed up.
Yeah.
And then hook him.
Welcome.
Yeah. He had a bad day.
That adds to a bad day.
Yeah, he had a bad day.
That's where things are going poorly, and they continue to go poorly.
That was now look, those in-game interviews are excruciating. I mean, they are excruciating.
They make
to
you
watch.
forget what team you're on.
I turned down the sound. I mean, and I'm not faulting the guys doing the interviewing. I literally mute the sound.
You feel for the coach?
Well, I just think it's excruciating. It's not fair to the interviewer. It's not fair to the coach. It's the brainchild of some producer. And if you really want to have a good interview, do what they do in the regular season and talk to the players. The players can't wait to talk to you. It doesn't matter the situation. You see some of these players they have during, these regular season games. Those are interesting. Those are good. The coaches don't want to do this stuff. And sometimes the guys are afraid to ask them questions. You could kind of hear that really in our region.
So are you, just for the record, are you giving Schlossnagle a pass for forgetting what team he's on?
Yes.
Because it was in-game.
I am.
I don't think A&M.
I don't think the Texas
fans.
Well, I don't think the Texas fans will either.
Well, he left A&M for Texas,
but he said gig 'em and then lost
during the College World Series, and then told us about it later.
I know.
While he was coaching his College World Series team.
Yeah, I mean,
he met at one of those steakhouses in Omaha.
They all hate him today.
Right. Yeah, they all hate him. They lost. Both teams hate him.
That's right.
Yeah, you go from the best guy in coaching to, nobody likes you.
Hey, let me say this, too. I mean, I watched on television last night because we have to get up so early. I just couldn't go, and I know you guys couldn't either. But, a lot of people are getting up and going to work this morning, and they went to the game last night. And I give them credit, man. When you play at 8 o'clock or 8:06, as it turned out to be on a Sunday night, and you got 10,000, 11,000 in there, that's commitment.
Everybody wanted to be there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Van Horn said this, and you brought it up this morning before we went on the air last week, and we heard it last week. It makes more sense now watching what's going on around the country. And I felt like not only the players and the coaches, the team was like this. I feel like the fans want this as bad as anybody as well.
Yeah, you got to feel good about yourself at the end of the season, and your players really need to want to be here. Sometimes you have to fight through injuries, fatigue, the lure of the draft. There's a lot going on, and you just have to make sure the guys feel good about being here. And if they do, you got a shot.
What's that mean? Feel good about being here?
That's an interesting comment when he made it last week. I think from a fan's perspective, you think, well, how could they not be interested in being here? Or how could they not be into the game on Friday night? I've been thinking about this all week. And I've said this before, and I know it goes in one ear and out the other, but these are kids, and they're not mature enough to process all the things that are going on in their lives. They've just graduated college. They got a sister getting married later this summer. They got a brother graduating college. Mom's sick. Dad's been transferred from work. Now, as an adult, we process all that, and we come to work the next day. And
not always well, though.
Right.
Even with life experiences.
Right. But my point is, as you're older, all these things happen, and you process it, and you go do what you got to do. When you're 21 or 22 years old, it's not the same. And I know people look at it and they say, oh, you're just making excuses for them, and blah, blah. That's not true. I've just been around it. I've been around it my whole adult life. I've seen what happens with these guys. It doesn't make them bad kids. Doesn't make them chokers. It just makes them human beings. And I don't know why Vanderbilt lost. I don't know why Texas lost. But I watched a good bit of the Texas game, good bit of the Texas weekend, and Texas felt the pressure with every pitch. Their crowd got a little more antsy with every run San Antonio scored. And by the end of the night, they were beside themselves. And I know they felt that pressure. I hesitate to use the word choked. I'm not going to. But I do think they felt the pressure. And same thing for Vanderbilt, same thing for Georgia, same thing for all these national seeds that lost over the weekend.
Hogs have won the regional. They go to Supers. They're finding out today who they'll play. Will it be Tennessee or Wake Forest? That series will happen in Fayetteville next weekend. Many SEC teams going down. We'll continue to recap what was a really interesting weekend when we come back on the Chuck and Bo Show. And your calls. We got people who want to talk early today. Let's do it next to Chuck and Bo Show. We're a little bit over our head here, but we're doing the best we can.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Hey, you can beat inflation and upgrade your ride at Chevy of Fayetteville. Right now, drive home a brand new Chevy Silverado, Blazer, Equinox EV, or the Tough 2500 with rates as low as 1.9% APR. Plus, take advantage of huge discounts and get top dollar for your trade-in. Go see Chris, Mark, and Denver at Chevy of Fayetteville, where the deals are big and the road ahead is even better. Chevy of Fayetteville. Let's drive.
Hey, want to fly like a VIP? With Jet Aircraft, you skip the TSA lines, skip baggage claim, and fly on your schedule. The plane doesn't leave until you get there. You enjoy a full bar and food service for up to 9 passengers and plenty of room for luggage. Wherever you need to fly to or from, whether it's a special trip to the College World Series or golfing with buddies, round up your crew, split the cost, and fly private. Also, ask about the Jet card. Visit jetnwa.com. That's Jet with 2 T's. Why don't you just kind of style it up a little bit at the game? Let's get your drip going.
Hey, I got a lot more drip than you think.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Is there anything worse than being in a line at a convenience store and you got a lottery ticket buyer? It tests every bit of patience, religion, everything good in your life, it tests.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
7 SEC teams are out. Vanderbilt, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Florida, done. Arkansas and Auburn have advanced to super regionals. 2 of the 10 teams that have advanced are from the SEC. LSU plays UALR, winner take all tonight. UALR beat them 10-4 last night. Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss all play winner take all games today.
Little Rock
playing
for the regional championship in Baton Rouge tonight.
I got to be honest. I watched them as much last night as I watched the Arkansas
If you don't
game.
love Chris Curry, you don't know him.
Hey, Chris and I, as it turned out, and I'll go to the phones here in just a second. In 2009 and 2010, I sat in the 4th seat on the right side, and Chris sat in the 3rd, and on the bus every game. And we dissected life. I'm just going to tell you, for a couple of years there, I think the world of him. I knew when UALR hired him that they were getting a great guy and a good baseball man, and I'm happy for him. And man, I'm going to be pulling for him tonight.
Me too. Well, who's not? They're playing LSU.
Well, yeah, exactly. Everybody's a UALR fan tonight. Gentle Ben's been on hold since 3:30 this morning. So, Gentle Ben, you get the first word, man. How's it going?
All right, Chuck, I wanted to congratulate you. I'm not going to use the right words because I only seen it for a few seconds of reading, and that's not enough for me. But anyway, I wanted to congratulate you on your accolades from ESPN or
that's not
President Trump or whoever.
We'll get into that if it comes up again. That's not real. That was a clickbait.
I'm sorry,
article.
I didn't know it.
No,
I fell for it.
No, that wasn't real. That wasn't real.
Did you get some sort of lifetime achievement award?
No, it was some kind of, there's this clickbait site, And they've had other stuff on there before too. With, you see the headline is like, well, that's not true, and people should have thought that on this. But it was like a couple of awards from ESPN. If I've won an award from ESPN, I don't know about it. But it was a clickbait.
Well, I was supposed to tell you later today.
Yeah, I mean, I already knew that.
Secret's out.
Yeah,
congratulations.
It's not real though. It's not real.
Well, sorry about that, Chuck.
Chuck is so far in 8 months of doing this show, Chuck has died while we learned of his death, his passing, while we were doing the show.
That's right.
And today he's gone into like the Canton Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Via some
and none of it's true.
Smart news.
Yeah, none
article.
of it's true.
It's like those magazines that used to be in the grocery store. Are they still there? Man has 3 heads.
Oh yeah. Well, this should have been equally unbelievable.
What was that? Which one? National Enquirer. Yeah. National Enquirer. Ben read it in the National Enquirer.
Go ahead, Ben, but thank you for saying that.
That's nice, man.
I do appreciate you saying that.
Well, I'm sorry. I just.
No, that's okay. You and some others too.
Yeah, well, hey, but hey, I am happy. It's fun being a Central Arkansas citizen and sports fan right now with the Little Rock Trojans and the Hogs. I love both of them, and just wonder if I'll see them playing against each other. But I'm really, drinking the Kool-Aid as far as the Trojans, and. Do they have to play LSU again? You already said that, yeah. Okay, I'm just hoping we can beat them again because nobody thought we'd beat them even one time, And
what's this we stuff? What's this we stuff now, Ben? Is ULR we now?
Yeah. Here's what I mean.
Well, good. Good for you.
I've been a Razorback fan since Mike Newell days, But I do root for the Hogs more than I did, do ULR, except maybe back when Newell was here, I didn't, but I was more of a Trojan fan then. But anyway, but it's good to have as many teams as we can from Arkansas in there, And so I like it. I like what's going on, and it's just fun to watch and see how far both of them go,
I appreciate that, Ben.
I wouldn't have to play each other for the national championship.
Well, that'd be fun.
But anyway, it's just good for things like this to go on, and just because we've always been blessed in Arkansas to see people that are in Baseball Hall of Fame played on Travelers Field. Anyway, here in Little Rock. So anyway, it's good, but I'm just excited about what's going on, and seeing them win and that kind of stuff.
Ben's so excited he doesn't know what to say.
I know.
He's just excited. He's just absolutely excited.
I think a lot of people feel
Ryan,
that way.
thank you, Ben. Ryan in Hot Springs. We'll find out about the vast list of awards Chuck won over the weekend, unbeknownst to him or anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll celebrate.
I found the post.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh,
we'll go to the Situation Room later.
It's funny.
Chevy of Fayetteville Situation Room. That is on deck. Ryan in Hot Springs, good morning. Ryan, you there? All right. Sterling at Center Ridge. Good morning, Sterling.
Good morning. Grand Rising. What a great day. Great day. Y'all done hit on all the major topics. And, the game of baseball is so fickle and so funny. It can change on a dime. I think we were a bad call away from having a shutout last night. I thought we had a guy struck out before
I did too.
Gave up a hit before we gave up a hit and a walk and then the 3-1 home run. But the same way with us, that line drive should have been a double play. Ain't no could have been, should have been double play, and then they're out of there and then before our 3-run blast. So that's just the game, and that's just how it goes. That's why I just wonder about people. You haven't got out of the regions the last 2 years, and they act like you done killed the Pope. I mean, that's just the game. You just lost sometimes. Sometimes you just lose. And sometimes another team get on the hot streak, and that's just the way it goes. It don't mean that the SEC still wasn't ultra dominant this season. All those teams deserve their high seeds that they received, and they just had a bad weekend at a bad time, and then the breaks. And I'm just hoping that we can keep it going. And Chuck said it last week, and y'all touched on it this morning about the vibe in the stadium. And it wasn't a nervous vibe, but it was a I don't know how to say it, but it was like kind of optimistic. You know, we got a good team, but we haven't got past this the last 2 years. Let's make sure we don't give no negative energy to this team, no matter how it starts. But luckily for us, they get off to good starts. There's never any doubt, never no pressure situation. We've never been in a situation where the game was in doubt. You know, we controlled the weekend, and that was good to see. And I think next weekend, whether it be Wake Forest, and obviously it would be more if Tennessee comes, more of that the right atmosphere that we're supposed to have for the postseason. Because, you know, I think now for the fans we can relax and now we can roll. I'm talking about the fans now. The team showed that they wasn't worried about all that crap anyway. But us as fans, now we can relax and get ready to act like our normal crazy selves this weekend. Let's
Thanks,
think about
Sterling.
that, fellas, and y'all have a great day.
Have a great week.
He made a point right there, right at the end, that I think is worth maybe spending a little time on. Fans have their own agenda or their own narrative, like, you know, we do win here, we don't win here, this team always does it, or this team never does it. I don't think players even pay any attention to that. I mean, do you think that the Aloy brothers or Maxwell or Davalon or these other guys are sitting around thinking, man, these fans have been mad since 2018, or there's a lot of people out there that don't believe in us? I don't think they're thinking about that. Nor do I think they're getting all caught up in the fact that, you know, everybody thinks they're great. I think they operate on an even keel, and whether it's Tennessee or Wake Forest, that's the reason I like their chances next week.
Yeah, I'm not sure we can get into this, what the waiting for the other shoe to drop kind of mentality is, why it continues to occur, but it is real with some fans. Ryan in Hot Springs, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show. Okay, we've tried Ryan.
Yeah,
a few
I think
times.
Ryan.
He's no longer in the bullpen.
Ryan's toast.
We've gone to Ryan in the bullpen. We've had to take him out of the bullpen. We got to have a reliable arm.
Brent's ready
down there. We'll get to Brent coming up. Brought to you in part today by First Security Bank, the official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. I ran into Adam Rutledge last night at dinner before the game, and he had been on a float trip with his family, and you know that's got to be exhausting. And he's like, "I'm still going to this game. I got to go see this game." I mean, there's a lot of people that just went to the game last night.
That's right.
They weren't like us. They had to get up this morning and get stuff done too.
Yeah.
And they went.
I know.
They didn't watch from the comfort of their couch.
That is the one thing about a Sunday night game. You still got to do all the family stuff during the day. And then the ball game's at night.
Absolutely.
You know?
A lot of smiling faces at First Security Bank all over the state of Arkansas. Convenient, friendly locations, helping you bank better every day. The official bank of the Chuck and Bo Show. First Security Bank, member FDIC. FSbank.com. You can find them online. Back in a minute at 6:29. Good morning.
That's the actual question. What the hell's going on around here?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Guys, real talk. You hear us talk about the Sweatin' 'em Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show, but also it's Father's Day, and yeah, socks are great, but how about a tune-up that actually makes you feel good? Head to the spa at Sweatin' 'em Cosmetic Surgery. Get a deep clean facial, laser the back hair, maybe a little Botox. Call 479-966-4174. Again, that's 479-966-4174. You deserve to look as good as you grow.
With rainy season here and summer just around the corner, make sure your gutters are ready. Hogcroft Gutters, locally owned with over 30 years of experience, does it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching and French drain. Fully licensed and insured with a 20-year warranty on every job. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. And for a free inspection, visit hoggutters.com. That's hoggutters.com.
Today's been a strange day.
Yeah, we've had some struggles here and there. Let's just be blunt. Can we be blunt?
Well, it's 50-50 at best.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
by the way, those are all gambles. Those are all raffles to some extent. They're all gambles.
Life is one big raffle.
It is.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Oh, yeah. The Hogs are rolling into the Super Regional. Others are not. And Chuck's getting awards.
Bart shaved his beard.
Bart has a clean-shaven face today.
Let's talk about Bart.
We will. We will. We're going to take...
Bart's getting ready to talk about me.
We're going to take about both of you after we take some calls. Brent is in Searcy. Brent, good morning. Arkansas celebrating a regional victory.
Absolutely, absolutely. We took care of business in a 3-game sweep, like I said they would. It was men against boys this weekend, fellas. It was men against boys.
They toyed with him, didn't they?
Yes, sir. And I got one thing. Big East champions, Big 12 champions, whatever champions you are, if you want to come get you a piece of the Razorbacks, you better think twice about it, because we're coming with some big sticks and some power arms right now.
Pack a lunch, baby. Pack a lunch.
Pack a lunch, absolutely. And it couldn't have been a better Sunday, because according to ESPN college baseball analyst Jim Schlossnagle and Tim Corbin, is that guy's name at Vanderbilt that looks like he's 85 years old, that coaches third base with the batting helmet on?
He's aged a little bit this year. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, it proves all the King's horses and all the King's men can't put the Longhorns and Commodores back together again. I mean,
That's beautiful.
Ridiculous.
It's poetic.
Chris Connie, you got what you deserve. You got a loser as your head coach at the University of Texas. A loser.
He didn't even know where he's coaching.
Couldn't happen to a better group. I hope he gets fired for saying "gig 'em" on the TV last night. That's just straight. That's insane.
Well, in a moment, in a nutshell, that captured the transient nature.
That's right.
Of college athletics.
That's right.
There's very little loyalty to the team anymore, to the organization.
Oh, absolutely. And I got one thing to say: go Trojans tonight.
I hear you,
Thank you, Brent. Brent's fired up.
He is fired up.
I didn't have Humpty Dumpty references in the first 40 minutes of the show today.
Here's the thing with UALR playing tonight. We got another game. I mean, we got somebody to root for tonight. I think Arkansans tonight have another team to root for. So for a lot of them, it's game day again.
Absolutely.
And you hate LSU.
I'm looking forward to
8 o'clock.
Now,
another 8 o'clock game,
LSU's going to kill them.
I would think
they're going to kill them.
But I thought that last night,
I'm
too.
rooting for it.
I thought that last night, too, and UALR won 10-4.
Well, I will say, when you get to this point in the regional, anything can happen depending on whose arms you have out there.
It's about one weekend. That's what it's about. That's what regionals are about. Every game you've played prior to that, you better throw out the window. It means nothing. And now it may mean a little more in Super Regional weekend, honestly. But in that first regional weekend, nothing that's happened before means anything.
Who's left on either one of their pitching staffs?
Well,
that's part of the equation. I knew last night when they rolled out the closer to start the game that they were in desperation mode.
Well, but, in
that first game with Creighton and North Dakota State, not that you were worried about Arkansas regardless. You felt like they were playing well. They're going to win the game no matter what. But it was a perfect way to have that last game played prior to yours, where they've got to go all in for a high-scoring game. They got to use arms. It's a real emotional game of runs and swings, and that was the perfect exhaustion that you would want if you're Arkansas waiting on the winner of that game.
Baseball is such a funny game, and each regional is different. That certainly was the situation here. But then you look at the Baton Rouge regional, and you look at some of these other regionals where teams won their afternoon game. The team that's 2-0 that they're playing on Sunday night's good enough to be 2-0, but they're not a great team. So the team that won in the afternoon carries their momentum into the night game, and they win. I thought one of the things that was impressive about Arkansas last night was whatever momentum Creighton had coming out of that first game got snuffed right away. When you're playing a good team on Sunday night that's 2-0, what you did during that elimination game in the afternoon doesn't matter. And it didn't matter in our game last night. But you look at some other regionals, and it did matter. because those teams, those 2-0 teams, weren't quite as good.
JR's in Shady Grove. JR, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good. I guess this Super Regional, is that this weekend? Is that how that shapes out?
That is, yes.
Okay. You know what? Watching that game last night, it seems like, of course, you know, you can say anything, but Khalil Aloy, is that his brother? You know? Yeah. If he would just be like 6 inches further in the batter's box, he would make so much contact with everything he's swinging at. It seemed like he was.
Which way do you want him to move? Which way? Tell me.
Toward the home dugout. I mean, he just seemed like he was missing
towards the plate, 6 inches towards the plate.
I mean, just what it looked like from the camera angle last night.
Well, I'm crafting a text to Nate Thompson right now.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
6 inches towards the plate, a.k.a. the home team dugout.
It brings back memories of my son playing Little League.
Keep that back elbow up. Crowd the play. Get that back elbow up.
And
you're make him throw you a strike.
His bat's not covering the whole plate, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So he should also probably. I'm going to add this part. Tell me if you're okay with it. Take your bat and touch the opposite side of the plate and make sure your bat covers the whole plate. Then you'll know you're close enough.
I forgot that one.
Should I add that or no? Leave it out.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well make it a full package, right?
Yeah, you get the whole thing. Leave no stone unturned. We want to make sure that no communication.
There you go.
Well, okay.
Now, does Tennessee and Wake Forest play today?
They do. They play at 5 o'clock this evening. That's right.
Is that the regional? Is that the one we'll end up possibly getting in our Super? Is that how that works?
There's a certainty there. The winner's coming. The winner's coming to Fayetteville next weekend. Well, we don't know yet are the game times. Other than that, we'll know.
All right. Thanks. You guys have a good day.
All right.
Thank you, JR. Thank you.
I'm so confused by everything that just happened.
Well, you know, it's.
Hold on, let me finish the text.
I know.
Kahio Aloy is hitting 335, by the way.
Wait a second.
He's hitting 335.
But clearly he's regressed off the plate.
335.
First team All SEC. You know, it has been interesting to watch the. I think we are all on the same page.
Okay.
Okay. Those of us. If that's you, welcome. Yeah. We're all on the same page.
All right.
What's been interesting to me to watch with these hitters this year, when you realize how good they are, this lineup 1 through 9, it's almost shocking when they're not getting hits or they're striking out because they're so good. And what was so fun to watch this weekend is some of those guys just really feel like they're getting in a groove again. And that's the way baseball goes. I mean, you would have 500 and 600 and 700 batting averages if guys were just hitting every game, every weekend. But that's not what happens. But when you go the test of a season, the kind of pitching they faced all year, and these guys are still hitting over 300, and not just that, 350, and they're hitting multiple home runs in a game. To me, this team is beginning, and I know it's like I almost feel bad saying this because everyone's waiting for something bad to happen. But to me, this team is getting on a roll at the right time. That's what I saw this weekend. That's what I'm seeing. What did you ask for? What would you ask for if you're going into the weekend besides winning the regional? You'd ask for guys that look like they're at their best. You would ask for guys that are on the mound, like starting pitching, to give you some innings. And your two best pitchers did exactly that. I mean, what else do you want coming out of a regional? Besides Kuhio to move up on the plate.
Yeah, if he get up on that plate.
If he just get his bat where it could reach the whole strike zone.
Good teams, when the weather warms, get better. Good hitting teams, when the weather warms, hit better. LSU did this for years. They'd pedal around until it got hot, and then they'd take off. I've always thought there was something to that. I thought Arkansas just played loose all weekend. I didn't sense they were even close to being awed by the moment.
If you're dealing with personal injury, struggling to get Social Security disability, or drowning in debt, you can call the team that fights for Arkansans. Bill Reynolds and the attorneys at Cadell Reynolds know how to get results when it matters most. From car wrecks to denied disability claims to filing for bankruptcy, they've got your back. You don't have to face it alone. Cadell Reynolds, 866-314-3728. That's the number to call, or you can visit them online at CadellReynolds.com for a free consultation. Cadell Reynolds, make the right call. You don't have to do it alone. 646, good morning.
Everybody's welcome to their opinion. That's just flat out wrong. The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, summer's heating up, and Splash Car Wash is keeping your ride looking fresh with a special deal just for listeners of the Chuck and Bo Show. Right now, buy one Best Wash and get 2 free. One for you, one for your spouse, one for a friend, or just keep them all. It's an easy way to stay clean, cool, and cruising all summer long. That's 3 top-tier washes for just $27. Text Splash Car Wash to 22322 to access this exclusive online-only offer.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
Chevy of Fayetteville is kicking off end-of-the-year savings this May. Drive home a new 2025 Chevy Silverado starting at just $34,000. Get up to $6,000 off MSRP on a new 2025 Tahoe or Colorado. And up to $13,000 off a new 2025 Crew Cab Silverado. Don't miss these huge savings. Only at Chevy of Fayetteville. Together, let's drive.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Are you looking for tough, reliable equipment from people you can trust? WT Equipment is your local family-owned dealership with 8 locations across Arkansas. And yep, they're big-time hog fans too. From Bobcat to New Holland, Hustler, Steel, and more. They carry the brands you know and trust to get the job done. Whether it's equipment or implements, WT Equipment has the tools you need, including a full lineup of Bobcat machines built for power and performance. Stop by your nearest WT Equipment today.
How was Saturday night for you after the game? What'd you do to celebrate?
The only remedy, I thought maybe get a few cold beers in there, maybe help it out a little bit.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
used to be my opening line whenever I emceed anything. Chuck Barrett was unavailable, and last second, here I am. I'm always available. And so here we are today, and let's have a big time.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, I know they were rocking and rolling last night at Baum Stadium, and my friends from Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, were front and center. Our friends, they're big baseball fans, and kind of like you were talking about, Adam, a little bit earlier with First Security. I mean, everybody was at the ballpark, and they were last night, and they follow the Razorbacks, and that's one of the reasons I like dealing with them is they're, home folks. They're people that live down the street that you see at ball games, at church, and, community outings. They're your friends, and that's what attracted me to them. The fact that they do a better job than anybody else is what keeps you there, and that's what makes Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, special. If you're in the market for a home, if you're buying, or if you're selling, let them partner with you, and I promise you'll benefit from it. Everyone who does so experiences the same thing we do, or we have, and will continue to, and that'll be your experience too, I'm certain. They're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties, Branson, Fort Smith, and you can log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
It's fun watching Arkansas roll through their regional and then look around and see others struggling, and it gives you a perspective, though, because you've been on the other side of that. The last 2 years, you've been on the other side of that.
Vanderbilt's going through it now.
Florida.
Tennessee.
Florida's been going through
Texas.
it all year. Texas was the first place team in the league most of the year. Vanderbilt was the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. Florida went and they were not good visitors at East Carolina. If you listen to the East Carolina baseball coach, he absolutely ripped Kevin O'Sullivan for his I don't know what he did before the game.
He apparently got into it with the on-site personnel.
About what?
They changed the game time. The game the night before ran late, and so they pushed the game time back an hour is what happened, and O'Sullivan was mad about that. I don't know the particulars on this. I'm going to be honest. At first blush, I thought he probably had a right to be mad, but maybe not to the extent that he went to.
Wow.
Well,
you don't hear this very often.
He's getting a spot on the wall.
Hall of Shame.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he is.
Does this feel like sore loser kind of situation?
I
things
think
not going your direction.
There's some to that.
There is, but there's a track record there too. There's a history.
Here's the East Carolina head coach absolutely annihilating.
Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina head coach annihilating the Florida coach.
One last thing I have is I have to say this, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I believe in standing up for what's right, and what transpired this morning on our field. Another coach disrespected our associate AD, who works as hard as anybody in our entire program. He disrespected our field crew, who are the salt of the earth. These guys would do anything for our program. It's not okay, and this needs to be brought up. Absolutely disrespectful. As a coach, it's our job to mentor young kids. And the way he treated the 2 site reps, the way he treated our associate AD, the way he treated our field crew is absolutely unacceptable. And that's what I'm most disappointed about.
That's just part of it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. He's just getting started.
Kevin Schnall.
Yeah.
Head coach, Coastal Carolina. Not getting any Christmas cards this year to Kevin O'Sullivan. That was ugly.
It was.
Yikes.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansans.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
Ty Story, high school football coach and former college quarterback.
I love coaching, but it's a lot more fun after LASIK. Now when I'm coaching, I can focus on my players and not my eyes. After LASIK, my eyes are even better than before when I had glasses or wore contacts. The McDonald Eye Team was great. They put me at ease. I couldn't believe how well I was seeing the day after surgery. Good vision and good football go together. I'm really glad I trusted my eyes to McDonald Eye Associates.
See your best with safe and affordable LASIK from McDonald Eye Associates. Register for your free consultation at mcdonaldeye.com.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I don't know what on time is for you, but yeah, you got here before the show started.
Whatever. Hey, have you ever seen anyone that takes so much pride in being the first one here?
Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
These people that talk about pressure's part of life, how many of you go to work every day and there's 11,000 people screaming at you while you're trying to fill out that form? I mean, give me a break. Go to work tomorrow and let's bring 11,000 people with you to scream at you and say, Doug, you're not any good. You're great Monday through Thursday, but on Friday, you're always terrible. I mean, let's see how you do that day. Come on.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Jeff.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo Show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I feel great about it. I feel very fortunate. You know, it's not easy. I mean, we've sat here 2 years in a row and we didn't get out of here. You never take it for granted at all. You have got to go earn it. Nobody's going to give you anything. You look at who's winning around the country. You know, you start thinking you're all that. You'll get it handed to you. You know, these guys, they stayed humble and they got after it, and you know, we get to hang out again together for at least another week.
Slider hit high in the air, right field and deep. Back it goes to the wall. Out of here. Kozel's hit a 2-run homer. There's a line drive left field deep. Back it goes to the wall. Into the bullpen. Out of here. Aloy with a 3-run homer. The pitch, curveball. He struck him out looking. Root's curveball is something else today, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks. A dominant win in the winner's bracket for the Hogs by a final of 12-1.
I didn't go out one time, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I didn't need to. They were ready.
Oh, this one is mashed. Maxwell hits it hard. No chance for the center fielder, Gillen. It's a 2-homer day for Maxwell. What an evening for Gage Wood. Strikes out the side of the 6th.
Strachan 0-2. He struck him out swinging. The 20th strikeout of the ball game ends it. This regional belongs to the Razorbacks. A 3-0 weekend ahead of the Supers.
I think we just played extremely well the last 2 days, and to me, our pitchers were amazing. You know, obviously Creighton was a little tired. You know, we didn't walk anybody. I think we struck out 20. We had 3 or 4 home runs. It was just, it was a great game to watch if you're a Razorback fan, I would think, and just really proud of the team.
What a weekend.
Dominant pitching. I mean, you only record 27 outs in a game. You know, 20 of them on strikeouts. That's pretty dominant right there.
By the way, hats off to North Dakota State. I mean, for a team that won 20 games all year, coming in.
They battled.
Regional. They fought to the end.
Well, and, you know, I mean, look down there in Baton Rouge. Look at UALR. They'd lost 13 of 14 going into their conference tournament. What was it, Bart? 5 wins in 4 days to win their conference tournament. And they're going to play LSU in a winner-take-all game tonight.
13 of 14 to close the regular season.
I mean, it's just crazy.
And cherry on top, Texas goes out.
Yeah.
They're done. They're eliminated.
Swing and a miss. Pack your bags, Road Runners. You're headed to the Supers.
And they didn't just lose. They lost to UT San Antonio.
They've got a good program. They've got a pretty good program down. There's a lot of baseball players
telling
in
Texas fans that.
But,
well, they got a good program.
Hey, you know, and we talked about this last week about the pressure aspect. And I know a lot of people, you guys were you're just talking. But I watched a lot of that Texas game or a lot of that Texas weekend, and I'm telling you, every time the other team scored, the grumbles grew a little bit louder in that crowd. And by the end of the regional, they were just all over them. And I watched Vanderbilt some too. And I mean, they just, again, with every pitch, with every runner that they left stranded out there, the pressure grew. And Arkansas is the highest national seed left. Arkansas, Auburn, and UCLA. Right now, if you look at who played the best over the weekend, might be those 3 teams.
Who has staying power?
Arkansas.
When you're going through the season, that's really what we're trying to ask about the postseason. And you just said it. And we said early on in the year, Arkansas looked like a team that was built for postseason, that had staying power. And then they go through some moments where they don't look as good as they did earlier. But do they have that staying power? part of that is, can you rebound from a skid, from a slump, from a not playing very well streak, whatever you want to call it? And I feel like with every player, name one if I'm wrong, they've been able to do that. I haven't seen anyone just sort of get in a little bit of a rut and stay there.
You know, the one thing, even when Arkansas wasn't winning every game, like people sometimes thought they should, it wasn't like they were losing like 13-3 or having games
tying runs or on base.
where they committed 4 errors or base running mistakes.
All the way up till the end.
They were losing close games. They were not playing poorly. They just weren't winning the game.
Well, they weren't playing their best, but they weren't playing poorly.
Right.
They've had some moments. But this team's been as consistent, I think, as anyone in the country, not just this year. But, again, we keep seeing the stats. It's every time they show a game on television, it's the winningest program since 2017, the most consistent program. And I know the only thing Arkansas fans want to think about when you say that is winning it all. But I by the way, I give Baum Walker Stadium, the fans that attended this weekend, so much credit.
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
It was just exact. By the way, fans play a huge role in this. We talk about it. You know, it's easy to point this way or that way. We're all part of the experience. And you can't have that experience at Baum Walker unless you have fans that are into the game. Not just showing up, but being into the game. What an environment. What Dave Van Horn and this program that he's built have done is really, I know they haven't won a national championship yet, but it's remarkable. It really, if you ask people around the country, they'll point and say, man, that is remarkable what they have going on there, what he's done and what they've built. And, again, all you can do is put yourself in the position this time of year, and they look like they've built the roster for that run. And you got to keep playing well. You don't get to have a bad run in you this time of year.
Well, we're just really fortunate and have been for a long time now to hit this time of year and our team still be playing, still be relevant. They give us hope every spring, you know, and that's what makes it fun. That's part of it. And they have captured the imagination of our state. And I know, you know, even when people have negative views about something, they're paying attention. I can remember a time where you couldn't get a positive or a negative reaction about Razorback baseball outside of Washington County. I mean, that's the truth. And now they're the focal point of every sports conversation in our state this morning. So, yeah, it is remarkable what they've done. And we take it for granted, just like every fan base would. But we're really lucky to have it.
We don't – go ahead.
For the 5th time in the last 7 NCAA tournaments, Arkansas is in the Super Regionals.
One more time.
For the 5th time in 7 tournaments, Arkansas is one of the last 16 teams standing in college baseball.
And they've missed the last 2 in a row, right?
Right.
So outside of just having an anomaly last 2 years of not making the Super Regional, and that's what, you know, we expect. I mean, they've created that expectation. And, you know, Van Horn talked about it earlier, like seeing every side of what happens in the postseason. We played it early in the show.
If you're not learning, you're going the other way. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to learn from experience, and there's nothing more. I don't think you can learn any more without the experience is the way you get it. You learn by, hey, that happened, this guy did that. You know, as far as what's gone down the last couple of years is, you know, last year we walked people and we got in trouble game 1. You know, you get a big lead, you're up 8-1. And you're in the 5th inning, so I guess you can probably figure I still remember it. And then your pitcher goes out and walks like the base is loaded, and we just punched in 5 runs. And next thing you know, it's 8-8, and we're using our better bullpen arms on Friday, which is okay if the game's tight, but we should have blown that game out. What you do today is going to affect tomorrow and the next day, and it really did. So, you know, hopefully our guys will go out and pitch well. Hopefully we'll field well. You know, I mean, there's a lot to learn. You know, hopefully, you know, cut that off at the pass pretty much if something like that happens again.
That was what happened the last 2 years.
Well, and it's what happened this year to Vanderbilt,
to other teams,
and Texas, and Georgia. they're the ones that are going through it today, just like we went through it at this point last year and the year before that. It's not to say the regular season doesn't matter. It does matter, but it's not going to get you anywhere at this point in the year. I mean, what you did 3 weeks ago has no bearing whatsoever on what happens now.
You can't do anything to guarantee postseason success.
No.
But you can put yourself in the best position possible. And the way Van Horn and his staff, if you listen to them all year, has approached the season was obviously to win the games they were playing. But during that, try to approach it in a way that you approach postseason. I mean, how many times, Chuck, have we heard them talk about things like, hey, this is the way it's going to be if you get to a super regional. We got to play this like we would a super, just getting them in that mindset. This is the way it's going to be when you get to a regional. Every opportunity they had is to try to learn of what it's going to be like when you get to the postseason. All you can do is build your team to be sustainable and then approach it like that and hope that you play well when you get there.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And if you watch distance runs, if you watch the track and field, there are points in a race where a guy will drop back a little bit, points in a race where he kicks, points in a race. I mean, there's an ebb and a flow is what I'm trying to say. And you position yourself to make that kick at the end. And that's what Arkansas has done. There's no guarantee moving forward. But again, I watched a lot of baseball over the weekend. We ripped the ESPN app. I loved it this weekend. I watched a lot. Arkansas had as good a weekend as anybody in America in college baseball. Doesn't mean they will this coming weekend, but they were pretty good this weekend.
877-377-6963 if you want to hop in here, text the show, call the show, celebrating the regional victory, 3-0 in the regional for Arkansas. When you look around, you feel really even better seeing what's happening with other SEC teams. We'll get into who's left and who's not and the rest of what's going on out of a busy weekend. Chuck's Knicks out of their misery. Done.
Yeah, they lost. I knew they would. Sorry. I knew they couldn't win Game 6 over there.
Sorry.
That's right. It was a great run. It was a great run.
It was a good run.
It's a good year. I'm not mad about anything.
It was a good run. And now Tom Thibodeau's back on the – is he the guy?
I like Thibodeau.
I do too. I just want him to get a haircut.
Everybody always blames the coach.
Get a haircut. Does he? You think he actually uses shampoo for those 5 strands?
I'm going to guess he still operates under the illusion he needs shampoo. Yes. I'm gonna guess. Anybody that combs over 5 strands is still believing.
He can definitely coach. That's for sure. But the hair is remarkable. 7:15. Good morning.
You can tell I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly.
Sleep is probably God's gift of medicine that we really don't utilize enough. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, it needs to be treated. There are some potential surgical solutions that can help you that actually work today.
Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better.
Hey, give us a call, 479-755-3000, or log on to our website, precedent.com, Precedent, and we'd love to help.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
There's simply not a better shopping experience than Macadoodles. Looking for the best selection of beer, wine, and spirits? Macadoodles or Guess Who in Bentonville has you covered. With an unbeatable selection, amazing prices, and service that's unbeatable, they've got everything you need. Whether you're stocking up for a party, updating your bar, or just grabbing your favorites, Roger and the team are always there to help. Make the smart choice. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista at the state line, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
Guys, real talk. You hear us talk about the Sweat and 'em Edge on the Chuck and Bo Show, but also it's Father's Day, and yeah, socks are great, but how about a tune-up that actually makes you feel good? Head to the spa at Sweat and 'em Cosmetic Surgery. Get a deep clean facial, laser the back hair, maybe a little Botox. Call 479-966-4174. Again, that's 479-966-4174. You deserve to look as good as you grow.
There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. And every Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. 15% off every bottle of wine in the store, even if it's already on sale. But when it comes to selection, amazing prices, and unbeatable customer service, Macadoodles and Guess Who in Bentonville is second to none. Wine, beer, and spirits. Stock up for your next party or just stop by and grab your favorite. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
There's nothing like a college football Saturday, a few beers, your phone, and Twitter.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I was just thinking this morning on the drive in, boy, it's going to be nice to see Chuck. And I don't usually think that.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Tennessee plays Wake Forest at 5 today. And the winner comes to Fayetteville next weekend. LSU and UALR play at 8. There are 4 SEC teams playing winner-take-all games today and tonight. LSU, Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. Arkansas and Auburn are in. They've advanced to the Supers. Vanderbilt, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, and Florida. Done.
Out. How about that? I tried mine.
There we go. That's what you were looking for right there.
It was tough sledding for the SEC. What happened?
They wound up dead.
What happened?
I don't think it diminishes the regular season, but I do think it points out that, and it's the regional round. It's the wild card of all the postseason. The weird things happen in that first round. If you lose in a super regional, generally speaking, you've lost to a really good team or a team that is red hot. When you lose in the regional, like, for example, Vanderbilt gets knocked out by Wright State. Wright State didn't even win the regional. At least Texas got knocked out by the regional winner. But you just can't base this one weekend on the regular season. I think you've got a better chance basing a super regional prediction on the regular season than you do the first round. that's when the weird stuff happens. And if you're not ready to go, there's going to be somebody else who is. Because, Vanderbilt was about as lackluster as a team could be this weekend. I thought Texas competed. They just got beat. Vanderbilt, I don't know what happened. But there were other teams in that regional that were very much ready to play, and they were excited about playing in a regional. Goes back to what Dave said last week about happy to be there. As a fan, we can't comprehend that. How can you not be happy to be there? It's all I've thought about all week. But sometimes that comes into play, and it did in those regionals.
Ready to be there, ready the right mindset to be there. What are you focused on?
That's right.
What's your approach? And as you mentioned earlier, a lot of distractions. Playing at home, there's a lot of distractions, a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, and that's all great. You just have to know how to handle it.
Well, and I think sometimes too we forget, like for the University of Texas at San Antonio. Biggest weekend in the history of their program. They went to Texas. They went to Austin. They were excited to go. I mean, it was Texas, San Antonio against the world over the weekend. And sometimes you get on the road and, you're taking on the world and magical things happen.
So Service, the head coach for Creighton, but who, by the way, has the opposite of what you've learned to be RBF, Chuck. It's just sort of a natural frown that somebody has on their face.
Yeah.
He has the opposite of that.
Constant smile.
Yeah, and he's not
smile.
actually smiling, but his resting face looks like a smile.
It does.
But he is, how long was he at Creighton? Forever, right?
He's coached 40 years.
Really respected coach in college baseball.
Right.
I don't know how well you can hear this, but he told Dave Van Horn after the game that he was the greatest competitor he's faced.
You're the best, man. You're the toughest competitor I've ever went up against in all the years I've been doing this.
You're the toughest competitor
he is.
I've ever gone up against in all the years of doing this. People will focus probably on this part.
Back in their days at Nebraska. I wish you the best, man. I wish you the best. I'm not too far behind you.
Van Horn says he's not too far behind him because Service is retiring.
Service is 67 or 68.
And I don't think Van Horn actually met like him.
It's just a couple of guys talking.
But you're the toughest competitor I've ever faced. And that's some high praise from one coach to another, and I think you would find a lot of people in college baseball that would say that to Dave Van Horn.
I can honestly say that of all the coaches I've been around, he's the most competitive. He'll fight you to the last drop of blood.
He's very well respected.
And, I can recall when he took the job here, Tom Osborne was in Congress then, and I'm relating a conversation. I was not a witness to it, but told John Bozeman, who was a congressman then at the time, he's the best young coach I've ever seen in any sport. That was Tom Osborne 25 years ago. Tom Osborne, knew. He knew a lot when it came to what makes a good coach, and I've never forgotten that because that's about as high. And in Nebraska, I will say this: it goes to what he did there. It's been a long time since he was up there. He took this job in 2002. That's 23 years ago. The people in Nebraska, he only spent 5 years there. Whether it's Ed Service in Nebraska, whether it's a Nebraska Cornhusker baseball fan, whether it's Darren Erstad, whether it's anybody that you associate with baseball in that state, they revere him over what happened over 5 years because they'd never done anything before, and just to be honest, they hadn't done a whole lot since. And they remember it like it was yesterday. And I've always been struck by that when I've gone up there because most people are forgotten 2 or 3 years down the road. I don't care how good you are. Something new comes along and you get pushed to the back burner. It's never happened up there. Never.
How are we feeling now? How are we feeling after the regional? 877-377-6963. How you feeling now? You feeling like, I still don't know? Or are you confident? And you don't know who you're going to play yet, Tennessee or Wake Forest. We'll find out tonight. Game time change on that? Chevy of Fayetteville Situation Room.
It's 5 o'clock. It was originally announced as an 8 o'clock game or 7 o'clock game last night, but it is a 5 o'clock.
It would have been 8 there.
5 o'clock on ESPN2.
Man, can we get some earlier games for the Super Regional than 8 o'clock at night?
What's going on there?
For whomever we're playing?
Sunday night game at 8 o'clock should be against the law.
Against the law.
Wow.
By the way, Bart was ranting on Twitter over the weekend.
Was he really?
Oh, he's in my feed. I was just.
What were you ranting about?
I was going to have this conversation.
What were you ranting about,
Bart? We're going to have to maybe pump the brakes a little bit on the very strong opinions.
Sometimes you got to, I always said, be overly aggressive. We'll rein you back in.
Yeah. Not every.
What'd you do?
Not every meal can be that rich.
What'd you do?
Well, the NCAA has what I consider to be one of the dumbest rules in all of sports. When it comes to,
right there, the dumbest rules.
Yeah,
in all of sports.
And
all
of
sports.
It truly is though. The fact that if Arkansas would have played North Dakota State yesterday instead of Creighton, Arkansas would have been the visiting team in a regional final at home in a regional in which they had not lost a game. Same thing happened in Game 2 when they were the away team against Creighton. They are the host, the number 3 national seed. They won their first game, and they are going to be the away team just because Creighton hasn't had an opportunity to be a home team yet in the regional. Well, Creighton, if you want to be the home team, host a regional.
I happen to agree with Bart.
This is so stupid.
I happen to agree with you
This
on
is
that.
so stupid.
But my point is, if everything's so stupid, then people
Let
start
me make the
tuning you
rules.
out. Everything can't be. Now that one you can die on that hill.
I'm with Bart.
I'm not disagreeing
everybody
with
is
the
with
point.
me on that.
Yeah, I'm not
There's
disagreeing.
nobody.
But
unanimous.
But you don't want to have so many so stupid things that we don't hear that one that really matters. So you got to pick your points that are so stupid, like the dumbest.
I said one of the dumbest.
Yeah. But I know, but you've also listed all the other dumb ones. So it's hard to pick that out of a lineup sometimes. But that one's a great point.
It's like, how did this happen?
Do you remember? Do I have this right? Did they used to make them change dugouts?
It's not, but it's not.
They did.
But that, Chuck,
well,
that's the thing.
when Arkansas beat Wichita State in that game, they were in the visitors' dugout. The Toops home runner, they were in the visitors' dugout.
Yeah.
Chuck, that's the thing, though. It's not supposed to be fair.
I know.
A team
I don't disagree.
I know. A team earned the right to host the regional, and if you win your games in the regional, you should continue to be the home team.
I agree with that.
Like,
and look, I happen to think if you host a super regional, you should be the home team in however many games you play.
Absolutely. The host team of a super regional should be the home team for every game.
They overcame it. If it would have happened.
Well, they were the away team for Game 2.
Yeah, and they overcame it. But it is dumb.
It's so like, who is making?
If
these
I'm not
rules?
mistaken,
I need to be in the room.
The way I read the schedule, Little Rock's going to be the home team again tonight when they play LSU.
Now I'm in favor of that.
So I am too. Everything's situational.
I
mean, there's
it looks
an
like
exception to every rule.
LSU will be the
Well,
home.
that's too bad.
Okay, all right. And Little Rock was the home team.
I mean,
last
I know
year.
they earned it and everything, but we'd rather see Little Rock.
Because the way the schedule was put out this morning, they had Little Rock at the bottom. Generally, the home team's listed on the bottom.
Well, I'm seeing LSU listed on the bottom.
Okay.
But I'm also seeing LSU listed on the top for their opening game of the regional, which was they were the home team in that game. So
it's a mystery.
Who can say?
It's a grand.
Tune in tonight to
It's
see
a
who the home
mystery.
team
Who
is.
can say?
You'll have to stay up till 8 o'clock, and probably 11 by the time it's over.
Well, with more games,
We shouldn't even be having this conversation if the adults in the room knew how to make rules.
See, that's what I mean.
That's
Just
fair.
add to the list.
No, he's exactly right on that. I've always thought that.
We have Bart to oversee the adults in the room.
One thing you can be guaranteed of in an
clearly need
NCAA
it.
baseball tournament, there's going to be a good team. It's got to be the visiting team in their home park, and the umpires are going to over umpire. You can be guaranteed of that when you get to the NCAA tournament.
877-377-6963. How you feeling about the Hog baseball
I feel
team
really
coming
good.
out of the
I
regional?
feel really good about
I feel
it.
great. They did everything that they pushed all the buttons, checked all the boxes for me. If you're enjoying the games, you can do it with a flight by Yingling. If you're out in the hog pen, you got the resealable 16-ounce bottle that you can take with you. If you're out and about on the lake this summer, it's a great thing to take with you. They've got the skinny cans now. Ask about it at your favorite restaurant, watering hole, or when you're in a store looking for something to stock up on. Flight by Yingling, it tastes like a Yingling, but it's a light beer. Just 95 calories, premium refreshment from America's oldest brewery. 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise a flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. You guys are part of my family. Everyone that listens to this show is just part of the Chuck and Bo family. We're building a community here.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
Chevy of Fayetteville is kicking off end-of-the-year savings this May. Drive home a new 2025 Chevy Silverado starting at just $34,000. Get up to $6,000 off MSRP on a new 2025 Tahoe or Colorado. And up to $13,000 off a new 2025 Crew Cab Silverado. Don't miss these huge savings. Only at Chevy of Fayetteville. Together, let's drive.
When is the last time you thought, oh, the SEC's making an announcement today, and it's going to be good for the Hogs?
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck and I started the show, he said we want to deal with smart people, smarter than us. It's going to take a while for them to show up because they've been dumbed down, but they'll show up.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Stretch at 0-2. He struck him out swinging. The 20th strikeout of the ball game ends it. This regional belongs to the Razorbacks. A 3-0 weekend ahead of the Supers.
How about that? Phil Elson on the call, Razorback Sports Network.
27 outs. You record 27 outs in a game, 20 of them on strikeouts. That's pretty impressive. On the verge of heading into the Chevy Fayetteville Situation Room for more Bart's rantings. Chevy of Fayetteville inside the Fayetteville Auto Park. Whether it's Chevy, Honda, Acura, Toyota, or one of the many certified pre-owned automobiles they have at Fayetteville Auto Park, you're always going to find what you're looking for. They've got a great selection. You're going to get a great deal. That's a given. But what you're going to find is that what happens after the sale is what really separates them, whether you need service work done, whether you might need collision work done. They've got award-winning departments, dedicated professionals, and you're going to find that at Fayetteville Auto Park. Right now you can save a bunch of money on new Chevys too, Bart. So
yeah, well, earlier in the show, Gentle Ben called in, and was it Gentle Ben that wanted to congratulate you?
Yes.
Wanted to congratulate you on the awards that you won over the weekend.
I didn't win any awards.
And none of us knew what he was talking about, but Bart has found the situation.
This is a bogus story. It's a clickbait article.
Well,
I didn't win any awards.
I don't know.
I didn't win any awards.
I clicked on this website, and I think I've infected my computer with every virus.
So you have every virus, yeah.
Bart had to use his burner laptop just to log on to the story.
I mean, there are pop-up ads everywhere.
It is one big pop-up ad.
Of course, this originated from Facebook, which we should.
All right, tell me what happened. Like, what? Set the scene here. I have no idea what's going on.
So, well, I'll just read.
I mean, I got a cake.
The lead.
I got a cake for Chuck, but I don't know what happened.
I'll just read you the lead of the story.
Congratulations!
In a stunning sweep at this year's ESPN Sports Broadcasting Honors, longtime Arkansas Razorbacks play-by-play announcer Chuck Barrett was awarded 2 of ESPN's highest honors, officially securing his place in college sports history as one of the most dynamic and beloved voices in the industry.
It was fake.
Already a fan favorite across the national state, Barrett is now the undisputed national voice of college sports excellence.
Wow.
Barrett took home the ESPN Lifetime Achievement Award in collegiate sports broadcasting, honoring over 30 years of service, passion, and iconic play calls for Arkansas athletics, and Best Play-by-Play Broadcaster Football Division for his unforgettable coverage of the Razorbacks' thrilling 2024 football season. And there's a quote
from
ESPN's lead panelist.
Unnamed.
Chuck doesn't just call the game, he lives it. His voice is a Razorback heartbeat. His authenticity, consistency, and Southern grit make him a legend.
Oh, my God. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Who did you have write that?
This site.
Did your sister write that?
No. Listen, this site. This site over the years.
Hold on. Time out.
Go ahead.
I just scrolled down far enough to get to this. During his acceptance speech,
Oh, my God.
an emotional Barrett said, and I quote, "This award belongs to the people of Arkansas. I'm just honored to be your voice, and I'll keep calling them as long as I'm blessed to do so. Woo Pig forever."
Now that hey.
Touching the hearts of Arkansans.
Yeah. Woo! I hate you guys. I mean, really. My hatred runs deep.
You want to call the Hogs right now? Let's call the Hogs. How about it?
I don't know how that happened. There was, from time to time, there was something about,
incredible.
there was some headline about Pittman, like 2 or 3 months ago, and I think the word stunning maybe was in the headline too. And it was obvious that it was not true. Kind of like this story should have been for most people. Obvious it wasn't.
I'm going to reach out to ESPN.
It sounded real to me.
And,
well, you've already got one from the league panelists.
That is actual fake news. Sometimes people say fake news. Somebody says something you don't like. Well, that's fake news. That is an actual fake news article right there.
There's a lot of that out there. But
it is total and complete clickbait.
Now, but here's the thing. Now, if we just follow the way of the world, we'll make it true. we'll get behind it and we'll roll with it.
I actually didn't even get to the quotes part. I didn't even know there were quotes.
That was a really nice acceptance speech.
Thank you. Well, I tried not to get emotional. So you know how I am.
So sometimes this is like on a negative front, where a really negative thing can be made up. This is very positive. I feel like we should roll with it.
Yeah.
And I also just want to give a shout
Let's
out
add it to the open.
I'm sure. I'm trying to think of who's responsible for this.
Well, the story comes from breakingsportnews.co.uk. So,
you think Jackson, our intern,
Hey, what was the byline at the top? What was the guy's name?
Freeman. Just Freeman.
Herbie Hancock.
Mine
literally
now,
just Freeman.
Now on my feed, the guy's first name was Ibrit, and his last name was some other name. So that was the first indicator.
Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Pen the story.
Freeman,
a stunning sweep. That's off.
I mean, that's such an elaborate story.
Oh, I know.
Where does it come from?
I saw, in all honesty.
By the way, just congratulations.
Well,
Did you know that you could be clickbait?
I had no idea. That's actually
that's the biggest compliment.
That's an honor in and of itself, right there. But I saw an article about a guy named Wes Durham, who's like a legendary.
Yeah, I know. Wes is great. Yeah,
and he's retiring. And I saw a similar type article on Facebook about him with the very same quotes. So my guess would be that there are about 100 play-by-play guys, depending upon where you are.
That's awesome.
There's about 100 play-by-play guys who have been given the voice of victory or some kind of award. And it's all clickbait for the people in those markets. That's all that it is.
I just don't understand what their
I don't either.
What their move is there.
I don't either. All 14 clicks.
But I
don't know if that put them over the top.
Now I'm interested. I want to collect all of the people that have won. And like to get.
I want to call ESPN and say, "Where are the trophies?
If you put
where
it
are
all,
the plaques?"
well, they said they have a new
Where's
policy.
Where's my free trip to the ceremony? By the way,
they've been all confiscated.
That's right.
From the scandal.
Ben in Little Rock said, I really thought Bart was going to get to close to the end and it would say, unfortunately, Chuck died earlier this year. So he's receiving this award.
This is the same place that reported my death.
Yes,
like
if you think
4 or
about
5
it,
months
how
ago.
remarkable is that?
Yeah.
How remarkable
What
it
a
is.
comeback.
Hey, comeback player of the year, man.
Now you're man of the year.
That's right.
Man of the Walter Payton man of the year. Chuck Barrett, 745.
right.
Good morning. Kids, there's never a good deal good enough with a bad person. Still a bad deal.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Are you looking for tough, reliable equipment from people you can trust? WT Equipment is your local family-owned dealership with 8 locations across Arkansas. And yep, they're big-time hog fans too. From Bobcat to New Holland, Hustler, Steel, and more, they carry the brands you know and trust to get the job done. Whether it's equipment or implements, WT Equipment has the tools you need, including a full lineup of Bobcat machines built for power and performance. Stop by your nearest WT Equipment today.
Arkansas's one-stop automotive shop is right around the corner. Fayetteville Auto Park. FayettevilleAutoPark.com. Chevy, Toyota, Honda, Acura, Collision Center, all in one place. And if you're shopping pre-owned, Fayetteville Auto Park has you covered. With so many new cars sold, we always have a great selection of fresh trades. Why settle for anything less than the best? Fayetteville Auto Park, West Showroom Drive in Fayetteville. Proud sponsor of the Chuck and Bo Show.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yuengling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yuengling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yuengling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer.
With rainy season here and summer just around the corner, make sure your gutters are ready. Hogcroft Gutters, locally owned with over 30 years of experience, does it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching and French drain. Fully licensed and insured with a 20-year warranty on every job. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. And for a free inspection, visit hoggutters.com. That's hoggutters.com.
There's no better shopping experience than you're going to find at Macadoodles or at Guess Who in Bentonville. And every Wednesday is Wine Down Wednesday. 15% off every bottle of wine in the store, even if it's already on sale. But when it comes to selection, amazing prices, and unbeatable customer service, Macadoodles and Guess Who in Bentonville is second to none. Wine, beer, and spirits. Stock up for your next party or just stop by and grab your favorite. Macadoodles, just north of Bella Vista, and Guess Who in Bentonville.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, if you're struggling to get your Social Security disability, or you're buried in debt thinking about bankruptcy, don't wait. You need a legal team that knows how to fight for Arkansas.
That's why you can trust Cadell Reynolds. Bill Reynolds and his team know how to get results when it matters most. Whether it's personal injury, disability, or bankruptcy, they've got your back.
Dial 866-314-3728 or visit CadellReynolds.com today.
Cadell Reynolds. Make the right call.
Yeah, does Chuck sleep that much? Because it just sometimes...
He's old, so when you get old, you don't really sleep as much.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Good morning, sir. Anybody that says sleep's overrated is not 66 years old, I'm going to tell you right now.
Boy, you're not lying.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, if your AC's on its last leg, replacing your system might sound like a big investment, but with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric, it's easier right now. You do not want to get into the summer with a faulty air conditioner. And right now, you can get up to $5,800 in total savings, as well as 0% financing, or payments as low as $125 a month. Here's the best part. You get to choose your bonus. You can take $500 off your installation. You can get a free whole home air purifier, or you can get $500 off attic insulation. It's all at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. So don't wait for it to give out. You do not want to come home in July on a really hot day and your AC's been out all day long. Schedule your appointment now log on to gopascal.com.
A lot of congratulations coming in on the text line for your Lifetime Achievement Award and Best Broadcaster Football Division. The ESPN awards that happened over the weekend.
That I was at and gave an emotional speech, but I don't recall being there.
Would you like to hear your quote again, Chuck?
Yes, one more time. One more time. I would also like to make this announcement. We are formulating plans to have sort of a hometown celebration. Not everyone could be at the big event that happened out in, where was it, Las Vegas? And so we want for people here.
Unclear.
We are working on securing space at the Chief Motel in Fayetteville to see if we could have sort of
One
just
of the suites
a
over
party.
there?
Yeah, one of the suites. Exactly. It's going to spill out into the parking lot, but we're going to have sort of a hometown celebration. Where we honor you in front of some of your favorite people, some of the people that know you best.
The people that recognized it was a bogus story.
Brandon
right
Long
off
of
the bat.
Weikert has agreed to host.
Yeah, well, that sounds great.
He's going to host right there at the Chief Motel.
That sounds awesome.
Actually, he's lobbying for a different location.
Well,
one more time on the quote.
This is what Chuck said during his acceptance speech. This award belongs to the people of Arkansas.
Yeah, it does.
I'm just honored to be your voice, and I'll keep calling him as long as I'm blessed to do so. Woo pig forever.
Say the first part one more time. It belongs.
It belongs to the people of Arkansas.
And another thing I'd like to announce here in the moment is we're going to make replica awards for all of anyone who wants them in Arkansas because you wanted to share it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, out of my own pocket. I'm gonna.
Can we sell replica trophies on our website?
Well, we're not gonna sell them. No,
that's
that's a better idea.
Yeah. We're gonna sell
that's a better idea.
The undisputed national voice of college sports excellence.
Yeah.
That is absolutely incredible.
And
that is so elaborate.
It's a lie.
Hey,
it's a flat-out lie.
Did you know Razorback fans flooded social media with praise?
Hey,
right.
This is actually probably true. This is the part that is true.
No, I'm sure it's
here's
not.
at Woo Pig Podcast. Chuck Barrett winning 2 ESPN awards. That's not just a win; it's a Razorback win. At Hogs for Life, he's been our voice, our pulse, our passion. Now he's getting the flowers he earned.
Our heartbeat.
I hate you.
He's been our heartbeat.
That was at Hogs for Life.
Clickbait.
Chuck Barrett is more Razorback than the hog itself.
Wow.
At SEC Truth Teller.
Did Hunter Yurchek weigh in with a congratulations?
There's a lot of effort put into this.
Has Hunter weighed in with a congratulations? I mean, I know it's got to be true. People have weighed in on social media. Actually weighed in. I mean, because Chuck was getting text all weekend.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
This is elaborate.
Hats off
Let's
to our
get
guy.
behind
There's
it.
a lot of work put into that.
What a scheme.
I mean, besides the whole thing not being true, it actually is true if you think about it. You deserve all of that. You are all those things.
Well,
More
that is-
Razorback than
no,
the hog
that-
itself.
I think somebody was saying, this.
I really do hate
This
you.
should happen.
I mean, from the depths of my heart right now, I hate all of you.
If I could just get to the lead panelist.
Hey, want to fly like a VIP? With Jet Aircraft, you skip the TSA lines, skip baggage claim, and fly on your schedule. The plane doesn't leave until you get there. You enjoy a full bar and food service for up to 9 passengers and plenty of room for luggage. Wherever you need to fly to or from, whether it's a special trip to the College World Series or golfing with buddies, round up your crew, split the cost, and fly private. Also, ask about the Jet card. Visit jetnwa.com. That's Jet with 2 T's.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly.
Sleep is probably God's gift of medicine that we really don't utilize enough. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, it needs to be treated. There are some potential surgical solutions that can help you that actually work today.
Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better.
Hey, give us a call, 479-755-3000, or log on to our website, precedent.com, PRECIDENT, and we'd love to help.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
Why don't you just kind of style it up a little bit at the game? Let's get your drip going.
Hey, I got a lot more drip than you think.
The Chuck and Bo Show. Previously heard on Chuck and Bo.
Well, the reality is, guys, in the sports world, fans, we all think we know. We know everything about sports. We have all the answers. Now, when you take your car down to get it fixed, you don't look at the guy and go, that's not how you do that. Are you an idiot? That's not how that works. You don't go to the doctor's office and say, I don't know. I don't really like. Some people are absolute know-it-alls. They want to tell the pilot how to fly the plane. But most of us know. We realize that's not our lane. But in sports, it's everybody's lane.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
I would resist the urge to drink this morning.
Stop. I'm done.
You said a lot of good things there.
Well, I don't know if I said one good thing.
I met a guy last night. Love y'all to death, Chuck.
You mind if I share?
I'm looking forward to it.
The show of record for Razorback fans.
I'm in my Sunday school, and first thing he says when we hop in the car, he says, "What's heard on the Chuck and Bo Show?"
It's too early for this kind of conversation. I'm still half asleep.
Here are your hosts, Chuck Barrett and Bo Mattingly.
I feel great about it. I feel very fortunate. You know, it's not easy. I mean, we've sat here 2 years in a row and we didn't get out of here. You never take it for granted at all. You have got to go earn it. Nobody's going to give you anything. You look at who's winning around the country. You know, you start thinking you're all that. You'll get it handed to you. You know, these guys, they stayed humble and they got after it, and you know, we get to hang out again together for at least another week.
Slider hit high in the air, right field and deep. Back it goes to the wall. Out of here. Kozel's hit a 2-run homer. There's a line drive left field deep. Back it goes to the wall. Into the bullpen. Out of here. Aloy with a 3-run homer. The pitch, curveball. He struck him out looking. Root's curveball is something else today, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks. A dominant win in the winner's bracket for the Hogs by a final of 12-1.
I didn't go out one time, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I didn't need to. They were ready.
Oh, this one is mashed. Maxwell hits it hard. No chance for the center fielder, Gillen. It's a 2-homer day for Maxwell. What an evening for Gage Wood. Strikes out the side of the 6th.
Stretch and 0-2. He struck him out swinging. The 20th strikeout of the ball game ends it. This regional belongs to the Razorbacks. A 3-0 weekend ahead of the Supers.
I think we just played extremely well the last 2 days, and to me, our pitchers were amazing. You know, obviously Creighton was a little tired. You know, we didn't walk anybody. I think we struck out 20. We hit 3 or 4 home runs. It was just, it was a great game to watch if you're a Razorback fan, I would think, and just really proud of the team.
8-3 final last night. The Hogs roll, never really in question ever in the regional. They go 3-0, and they'll host either Tennessee or Wake Forest. That deciding game in that regional is tonight. Auburn's already in. Their opponent in the next regional or super regional will be Coastal Carolina, who might be the hottest team. Well, they are the hottest team on paper. They've won 21 straight games. They eliminated Florida, among others, in that regional. And so now, playing to make it, still alive in the SEC, you've got LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. Arkansas and Auburn are already in. But if we're looking at the rest of the league, Vandy, Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi State, Kentucky, Florida, out. Over. Done.
That's, you know, if all 4 teams that play today win, and odds are they won't, but if all 4 of them do, you've got 6 of the 16 for the league, and that's good. I think, obviously, it's Vanderbilt and Texas being out that is so surprising. Arkansas is the highest national seed left, and Auburn's right after them. Georgia, I'm not surprised by, just to be real honest. I've kind of been suspect of them. But, hey, I'll tell you, if you're not ready to play, there's going to be somebody who is.
Rod's on I-40. Rod, good morning. You're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, Rod.
You know, I still comb all 7 of my hair, by the way.
You and Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, I could probably get away with body wash, but, you know, vanity. And all my beautiful, you know, auburn red hair has migrated down my back to my bottom, so it's okay. You know, it's all right. I mean, so I look like Chewbacca everywhere else, but I'm totally bald on top. And congratulations, Chuck.
Thanks,
on being first.
Thanks, man.
You know, and you did it all while you were deceased.
Yeah, I know.
That's quite an accomplishment.
It's been a heck of a year for you.
How'd you pull that off?
Well, it's not easy, let me tell you.
Hey, when you're good, right?
Chuck Barrett's running the internet.
Oh yeah.
In charge of it.
And Bart,
He's on
I
a
know
roll.
it sucks to be in the visitors team when you're home, being a visitor's dugout, but it wouldn't matter if we were sitting in the stands eating popcorn. The result would have been the same.
Well, they don't have to move to the other dugout anymore, but they did have to be the visitor.
Oh.
And that will also happen in the Super Regional.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to matter. This is a really good team we got. They really are.
Well, I hope you're right.
And
I tend to believe what you're saying. I am in that camp. I think others are just still holding their breath. And I get it. That's what you do this time of year. And there are no guarantees, but I really like the way Arkansas is playing.
Yeah, I mean, for God's sake, CEO, move up a little bit. You can get arms like Michael Jordan. You can't stand out of the batter's box and still hit the ball, for God's sake. But he's doing all right. I mean, considering you need arms like Bigfoot to hit the ball from there, but that's all right,
How many home runs does he have this year? Can you imagine telling a first-team All-SEC player who's hitting 350-something, giving him
335,
23rd in the SEC.
13 homers, a team-leading 69 runs batted in.
Could you scoot up to the plate a little bit more? Can you imagine?
For those who don't know,
we had a
caller earlier
at Walmart
that
while
suggested
he's buying
that,
a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
Hey, man, could you scoot up in the box a little bit? I noticed you were struggling at a couple of plate appearances.
It's like, hey, when all three of those infielders are on the left side, why don't you just hit it over to the right side?
Can you explain that? Because now you've lost some people.
Well, when they put the shift on.
I know, but it looks
But
like.
there are people that will say.
It looks like, well, why can't you just hit it over
hey,
there?
well, why don't you just hit it to the right side?
Where those guys aren't.
They're shading you to the left in the outfield. Why don't you hit it to right center?
Why can't you just hit it where they ain't?
Yeah.
Why not? Why can't you do that?
Well, it's just, a
little
just
harder.
one of those things.
It's a little harder than that.
One of those things.
Arkansas is doing a lot of good things at the plate, doing a lot of good things on the mound. Man, this was a fun regional to watch.
Here's the thing that I liked over the weekend. They never gave the other side reason to believe they were going to win the game. Never once. Now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there was never an inning, never a pitch, never a moment where I felt like Arkansas was going to lose the game. The other team might beat them. They were the dominant team this weekend. And you look at, for example, Vanderbilt, Texas, Georgia, out of our league, they are experiencing what we've experienced the last couple of years. And it just, it's a reminder again that you're playing a team that's going to be really happy to be there. Dave talked about this last week about a team that's happy to be there, happy to be playing. As fans, we find that difficult to understand sometimes, how, a team can't be as excited as we are. But you've also got to consider the factor of the excitement for the other teams that are, this is their biggest weekend ever. And they're coming to beat you. And, that's why Little Rock's playing LSU in a winner-take-all game tonight. It's why Texas is sacking the bats and UTSA is going to the Super Regionals, because those were really important weekends to those teams.
How great was that?
It was great. I loved it.
How great was it to see Texas go down? Who's that's cherry on top of the sundae.
Pack your bags, Road Runners. You're headed to the Supers.
How about Vanderbilt? They would have tied the game. They would have tied the game against Wright State. They hit a ground rule double. If it doesn't bounce over the fence, they tie the game. But the guy that scores has to go back to third, and the next batter flies out. Game over. But they, as Chuck said, they escaped. They escaped against Wright State early in the regional.
They should have been 2 and out. They were beaten on Friday night, and Wright State's head coach, I have no idea what he was thinking. Took his pitcher out after 6 innings. He had a no-hitter going. He'd thrown 76 pitches. He was just playing catch. And he took him out. And, of course, Vanderbilt came back and won. But give Wright State credit. They eliminated Vanderbilt. And then Louisville beat them last night. So Louisville won that regional. Vanderbilt was they were about as lackluster as you could get.
Can you imagine if Little Rock beats LSU tonight? When you get in these elimination games,
anything can happen.
And then for the last game of the regional now, everything's on the line, all hands on deck. This is one of those scenarios you would think LSU is going to win the game. But when you get in a completely different scenario than you face at any other time in the season, you don't know anything.
The pressure on LSU is enormous today and tonight. Whereas if you're Little Rock, you just go play. Nobody thought you were going to be here anyway.
Every good thing that happens continues that
That's
trend.
right.
Like for if you're Little Rock, anything good that happens, more pressure on LSU, more fun for you.
Well, we talked about pressure last week, and I know some buy into that and some don't, but it's very real. And Vanderbilt felt it over the weekend. Georgia felt it over the weekend. Texas felt it over the weekend. And LSU will feel it tonight. Tennessee's feeling it right now. I guarantee you they are. Oklahoma, they're playing free and easy. North Carolina's the one feeling the pressure in that one. Pardon me. I think Ole Miss can out-hit Murray State today. Murray State's a 4 seed. I'm not saying it's a fluke that they got to 2-0, but Ole Miss scored 19 on them last night after winning in the afternoon. I kind of think Ole Miss hits their way out of
They had to come back
there.
against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, came back and won that game. I think they scored, 30 runs yesterday between the two games, 30 or 31. I could see Ole Miss just slugging their way through that today.
Here's the thing when it comes to these like winner-take-all Monday games of a regional, all these teams are for the most part out of pitching. Like it's kind of all hands on deck situation,
Piecing
which
it together
adds to the randomness. Yeah. Like if some guy for Little Rock, for example, comes out and throws like three great innings or whatever, that might be enough.
That's right.
That might be enough, and vice versa for LSU,
And I will admit, I was watching UALR's games as much as I was watching our game last night because I think so much of Chris Curry. I kept waiting every time Little Rock would bring in a pitcher that had like a terrible ERA. Well, this is where LSU explodes. This is where LSU just, scores 8 runs and puts this thing away. And they never did. And, in fact, UALR increased their lead throughout the game. So I enjoyed that one. I think so much of Chris Curry. He was an assistant here. And when we went to Omaha in 2009, he was on the staff in 2010. Chris is as good as they come. And really, really happy for him.
I couldn't agree with you more. Also, by the way, if you're wanting to do something for Chuck for his awards, you could
bogus awards.
You could get a membership to Splash Car Wash, and you're going to get 2 additional memberships. You could give one of them to Chuck. And summer's heating up. Splash Car Wash is keeping your ride looking fresh. Chuck already has one, so you don't have to do that. But if you want to help somebody else out, or maybe it's just your family, you can buy 1 car wash, 1 best wash, and get 2 free. 1 for you, your spouse, a friend, whatever, however you want to do it. You get 3 for 1. It's an easy way to stay clean and cool, cruising all summer long. That's 3 top-tier car washes, $27 a month. You won't find a deal like that anywhere. Arkansas people helping Arkansas folks. That's what Splash Car Wash is. Text 22322, text Splash Arkansas to 22322 to access this exclusive only online offer. Splash Arkansas to 22322.
I'm amazed at the number of people who think they're smart.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Buying or selling a home's a big deal, and you want someone who is with you every step of the way. That's why those of us at the Chuck and Bo Show wholeheartedly recommend Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, because we've experienced it. They've been my partners for life. They're Bo's partner now, and I promise you, when you become involved with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they'll become your partners for life, too. They've been turning houses into homes since 1978, and you can always log on and check out their selection at WeicherGriffin.com.
Hey, want to fly like a VIP? With Jet Aircraft, you skip the TSA lines, skip baggage claim, and fly on your schedule. The plane doesn't leave until you get there. You enjoy a full bar and food service for up to 9 passengers and plenty of room for luggage. Wherever you need to fly to or from, whether it's a special trip to the College World Series or golfing with buddies, round up your crew, split the cost, and fly private. Also, ask about the Jet card. Visit jetnwa.com. That's Jet with 2 T's.
We never thought much about power outages until we had one during the worst possible time. As a busy mom, there are plenty of challenges in a day. But with Paschal, power outages don't have to be one of them. A whole home generator installed by the pros at Paschal gave me back my peace of mind. The process was easy and understandable. Now, I don't have to worry about losing power when storms arrive. Get a free estimate today and keep the power on with a whole home generator from Paschal. Professional people, professional service. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
If you haven't tried a flight by Yingling, you're missing out on the great taste of Yingling that is a light beer. It's the next generation of light beer. Get it on draft, in the can, the new skinny cans, and now the new 16-ounce resealable twist-off aluminum bottle. Perfect for any occasion. It's just 95 calories, and you're still enjoying a Yingling. Take your beer game to new heights with Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
You know, I want Texas to lose. Yeah, I want them to rot in hell.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
In this room have opinion. Facts are secondary to a good argument.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
877-377-6963. You can call or text the show. Listen to the show anywhere on the Hit That Line Now app presented by Taco Bell. You can check the show out on YouTube on demand or streaming live every day. You can follow the show on demand via podcast at Chuck and Bo Show. David's in Searcy. David, it's 8:19, 8:20 now on a Monday morning. Good morning.
Good morning, fellas.
Hey, David.
I have something I'd like to say, but I don't really know exactly how to say it. Have you ever done that, Bo?
Every day.
Something to say, and we'll just see what comes out.
Yep.
Okay. Yesterday, I turned over to the Georgia game just for a little bit, see what was going on, and here they have the number 7 team in the country, lead the nation in home runs, exciting team. The stands were not even half full. And I thought, my goodness. And then as I was watching our game last night, it just hit me. Of course, you know, I'm all into it, but I thought, I'm not sure everyone really understands what exactly Coach Van Horn has brought to us. For one thing, he always has a good team. Always. You can count on that. He knows what he's doing. Great at bringing talent in, and he has help with that. But the way this team conducts itself on the field is just exemplary. And it is a privilege to watch his teams play because there's no foolishness. It's all business. Let's play the game. We would be totally shocked to see someone go off on an umpire or something. And we're just very blessed to have him in our program. And I'd just like for everybody to understand what we're watching when we have the chance to see this team play. Let's not forget what we have, regardless of how it comes out. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Thank you, David.
Yeah, it's been fun. And all that's true. And if you notice, the way the fans are into it is remarkable, too. And that adds to the experience. And we try to mention that because I think it's important. Last night in the hog pen, they had that home run counter up.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. You know, he was talking about Georgia. You know, that was noticeable to me, too, was that there just weren't that many people there. Georgia's a good program. I think a lot of Wes Johnson, but that's not a championship level program yet. Doesn't mean he won't get it there, but they're not there yet.
They were good in the regular season.
They were good.
They did a lot of good things, and he mentioned home runs. By the way, Arkansas's home runs, 120 now? Are they at 120?
I think that's right.
It's a school. They passed the school record before they got to 120, but they just keep adding to that. And in this regional, how many guys had multi-home run games? 3 guys? Aloy, Helfrich, and Maxwell?
Yeah. Well, and the ball's flying. The ball's flying at Baum Walker right now. It's warm. It's warm. The wind's blowing. That ball carries. That ball carries. That first home run Maxwell hit last night, it reminded me of Toops' home run.
Yeah.
It just kept carrying.
Kept going.
And they were saying, and I'm not big into exit velo like a lot of people are, but the exit velo is 93 miles per hour. And just to be honest, it's very rare that you see home runs hit where the exit velocity is less than 100.
Right.
So, you know, that was notable too.
Do you don't love every time they tell you what the exit velo was?
Let me tell you. I
think it was 103.
I couldn't broadcast a game now because the first time somebody brought up TrackMan, I would physically throw it out the window.
What do you mean?
But that's just me. I mean, I understand all that. But, you know, I did baseball for 23 years. We never talked about spin rates. We never talked about some of the stuff that they talk about now. And but I know that those are things, exit velocity, things like that. Those are things people pay attention to. I'm not as big on it as some, but I know there are those who live and die by it.
Big Keith is in Hot Springs on a Monday. Big Keith, you're on the Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, Bo. It's Big Keith in the house.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Sir.
Doing good. Hey, I got 2 questions for you. Number 1, is it just me, or did I not notice, and I wanted your opinion, in the top of the 9th when we had 2 outs, the coach came up to the pitching mound, and they called everybody in. Do you think, and this is what I think the coach told them, is not to act a fool when they win, you know, because they haven't finished it all the way, you know, they haven't done nothing yet, you know.
Well, I don't think he has to tell him. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think he has to tell him. I think that's ingrained in him. And but now if they win the whole thing, there'll be a big dog pile. I promise you.
Oh yeah. But you seen the other schools, they all started rushing the field on the final out and stuff, and we didn't do that. We had class to show respect to the other team, and I like that. And then here's the second question. Who do we want to lose tonight, Tennessee or LSU?
That's
you got to
good.
pick one.
Oh.
I don't know if – because I'd like to see Wake Forest play us here because I ain't never seen that. But then again, I'd like to see Little Rock move ahead. So I wanted you guys' opinion. That's like a poll question of the day.
Okay.
Have a good one now.
Thank you. Well, if we could just pick one, me personally, and I think Chuck would agree because of our affection for Chris Curry, that we would pick LSU losing so Little Rock could win, because I don't know that it's appreciably different whom Arkansas plays between Wake Forest and Tennessee, but you might feel differently on that. Is there a team you would rather face of those two?
I don't know, but I do know this. I am way past pulling for the other SEC teams now. I got to be honest. I rooted against every one of them over the week. And I'll root against LSU tonight. I'll pull against Tennessee. I am kind of hoping Oklahoma beats North Carolina. I don't really care about Ole Miss, but I'm glad Texas lost. I was rooting for anybody to beat Vanderbilt.
Did Texas change that? When Texas came into the league,
Maybe.
Now you said I can't root conference anymore.
Well,
and now that I've thought about it, I'm going to start applying that to other teams that I've never really wanted to root for anyhow.
I've never rooted for LSU in baseball. I've never rooted for them. Never rooted for Texas in anything, I don't think.
It might be different in football because of the
Maybe
voting situation that we have in football, which humans make decisions based on strength of schedule and how good somebody's league is. So that is a little different. In this scenario, you play your way to the championship. You don't get to do that in football. You got to get into the playoff based on other people's opinions. In basketball, you have a selection committee. It's a broader situation, so it matters a little bit, but not as much as football. In baseball, yes, there's a selection committee, but so many teams are getting in. Rarely is a team like Arkansas going to get left out. So you feel like you don't really need the SEC to show up in a big way. In fact, if you get to Omaha, you'd rather see less SEC teams there.
This is, and I've followed college baseball pretty closely since 1992. This is by far the most unpredictable NCAA tournament that's occurred since I've been paying attention to it.
Because of the way the regionals have played out.
Because of the way the regionals have played out so far, I think it was the most topsy-turvy regional weekend since certainly they've come up with this format, which I guess was about 25 years ago. This was as crazy a first weekend, yeah.
I think 1999. I think was the first year of the current format.
And I can't recall any first weekend like this one.
I think
but just a couple of quick housekeeping items. So this does matter a little bit because in the event that these teams would advance to Omaha, Arkansas's first game there would be against either LSU, Little Rock, or West Virginia. Another quick note.
They're going to match up in the super regional, those two regionals.
Right. Another quick note. We had a texter a while ago ask if Little Rock beat LSU, would they host a super regional? The short answer is not likely. The longer answer is it's possible because you have to bid to host a super regional. West Virginia. West Virginia is the higher seed. If they bid to host it, then it's at West Virginia. Yeah. If for whatever reason they don't, like if there's a conflict at the stadium or something like that, which we've seen before when Missouri State was supposed to host
but what's going to be going on in West Virginia?
Really, there might be some couches getting lit on fire. Who can say?
They'll have to go to West Virginia.
In all likelihood.
Pat McAfee will ensure it. Yeah. Brian and Alma, it looks like Brian has an interesting story. Brian, what's going on?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, good morning.
So, just real quick, I'm one of the lucky guys that sits in Section 113, and so we get moved for the postseason. Now, I realize that's not everybody knows that, but it's right behind the third base dugout, and they move us for the visiting team seats. And so I'm sitting in 118 section, way out there by the Kona ice machine. You know where I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And
left field corner.
Yes, left field corner. So I'm sitting around different people, and there's a young man and his son, probably a 10-year-old boy, that's sitting in front of me for the Saturday night game. He goes out to the hog pen because he wants to go out there to see if he can catch a ball. Well, lo and behold, he was first home run. This kid comes back, and he has the ball, and he is super excited. And his dad is excited, and you could tell that made his day. Well, it wasn't 5 minutes later. Here comes that group of kids from Hawaii, that team that Vahiva's former coach brought. So those boys apparently had seen this, and they come circling him up, and they are begging this kid for the ball. They said, it means so much to us. We're from the same island as Vahiva. We've traveled this whole way. Is there any way? And so the boy looks at his dad. You can tell he's like, man, this is tough, you know. And so that young man gives them that ball, which I thought was commendable. And I walked down and I said, you know what? I said, how old are you? And he said, I'm 10. I said, that was probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. So it wasn't 15 minutes later, and here comes that coach of that team. He shows up with 2 of those custom-made dry-fit jerseys and a baseball that he said that he's going to have Vahiva sign to give to that kid. I thought that was the coolest story ever. Those kids from Hawaii got Vahiva's first home run ball, and the 10-year-old boy that wasn't selfish ended up getting rewarded.
Wow.
That's a nice story.
That is. That's great. That is. It reminds me of like you go over, some team goes over to Hawaii or maybe a Puerto Rico or whatever, the Dominican, and they like trade jerseys or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a moment like that. That's pretty cool.
I thought it was cool. First of all, for the 10-year-old, that's a tough call when you get a baseball for the Heva Loy's home run ball. He gave it up, and they rewarded him. So I thought that's just a cool story, and it shows the character of that young man, who I don't know who he is. But it was the excitement on those boys from Hawaii, because you could tell it meant a lot to them to be able to get that baseball.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you, Brian.
When you have something like that, it is about the story. I mean, you have the moment and the memory. It occurred. It happened. You have that. But then when you have that memento, you put it somewhere and people come over or whatever, and you're telling them about your story. All your things like that, you hope have a story with them. Well, that's an even better story now. So that's great. What a moment for a lot of people. It reminds me of like Chuck. What would have been in your speech right there? Would that have been, is that touching?
I was already emotional. I mean, what do you want from me? I mean, I already cried.
Yeah. Did you take jet aircraft to your award ceremony?
I did, as a matter of fact. And we had a big entourage, as you can imagine.
It's first class. And they'll pick. You just drive right out there to the airplane. Then they take your vehicle, they valet it, and then it's detailed while you're gone. So if you want to fly VIP, U.S., Mexico, internationally, jet aircraft, you literally drive out there. They've got a fully loaded bar, catering options for food, plenty of luggage space for up to 9 people. And maybe you're not in Northwest Arkansas, so they need to pick you up somewhere. But if you're thinking, hey, Arkansas goes to the College World Series, I want to have the experience of a lifetime, fly up there and back the same day to watch a game, that can happen. You can get some buddies together, you can split the cost, and you can have the experience of a lifetime, a moment you'll never forget. And if you travel a lot, and maybe you're looking for a private aircraft service, ask about the Jet Card memberships for even more perks. Wherever you're headed, a Razorback game, a golf trip weekend, a concert, you can do it right with Jet Aircraft. JetNWA.com is the site. You can go online, check it all out. That's Jet with 2 T's. JetNWA.com.
I don't need Chat GTP. I've got Chuck GTP.
Amen.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Some moments just call for something unforgettable. At Blakeman's, you don't just buy a diamond. You create an unforgettable experience. Their newly remodeled space is stunning with Cafe B right inside and their in-house diamond expert that'll help you find the perfect piece every time. That's just part of the Blakeman's experience. When you see the purple bag, you know it's something special. It always saves the day. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
As a play-by-play announcer, my eyes are everything. I need to see every detail on the field to call the game the right way. So when cataracts started affecting my vision, I knew I couldn't wait. I went to Dr. Betts and the team at McDonald Eye Associates. And truthfully, I wish I'd done it years ago. The difference is incredible. The whole experience was professional, easy, and honestly life-changing. If your vision's holding you back, take it from me. Don't put it off any longer. Schedule your appointment with McDonald Eye Associates today. There's nothing we enjoy saying more than I told you so.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
had comfortable shoes before they started coming out with like On Clouds and Hokas.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting here around on our rear ends talking sports. I mean, I shouldn't, it doesn't make any sense to put on like boots, something like that. It doesn't make any sense.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, here's talking about hog trough gutters a lot. There's a reason for that. They're good. They do great work. They're a locally owned, locally operated company, and we're for them. So if you have issues with your gutters, or if you've got some drainage problems around your house, all that's probably been exposed during the spring rain season, call Hog Trough Gutters. Seamless gutters are made on site. They do trenching work, French drains. They're fully licensed and insured, and every job comes with a 20-year warranty. They service all of Northwest Arkansas, all of the River Valley. Take a picture. Take a picture of your problem. Text it to them. They can perhaps analyze, at least to a great extent, what's going on just through that picture. And they'll have a plan when they come and work on your home. You can log on, find out more about it, hoggutters.com.
Got an update on the 10-year-old boy that caught the home run and then gave it to some of the Hawaiian players from a youth team that was brought over here by a coach that I believe is one of the Aloy brothers or both of their coach when they were growing up. And pretty cool story that they were even here.
Right.
But he gave his home run ball, that Vahiva hit, to this team. And Garrett and Gentry has chimed in that is his cousin. And his cousin, this 10-year-old boy who gave that ball to those kids, got to meet both of the Aloy brothers. They signed his dry fit jersey that coach had gave him. And Vahiva signed the other baseball. But his favorite part was getting to meet and talk to the Aloys. And they were both incredibly nice to him.
I'm sure.
As they are.
Night to remember. That's a great night.
One of the things about baseball players, too, if you'll notice after the games, like Maxwell was sitting around, signing balls, talking to people after the game. Did you see that conversation that Hogs Plus had with Zach Root after he pitched that gem in Game 2?
Didn't see it.
What's for dinner? He said he was going to Taco Bell and he was going to get 5 beef burritos.
Wow.
5. He said he usually got 5 of them.
That's a hearty appetite right there.
Well, I mean, it's a growing boy.
If I were to look at 5 burritos, I'd gain 10 pounds just by looking at them.
We'll save that for the kolaches.
Yeah.
By the way, how many breakfasts do you think we're going to have this week? Didn't do one today.
I don't know. We're going to have to work something out tomorrow. I mean, I don't know if it's Bart, Edward, you, me, but somebody's going to have to do something.
I think Chuck's going to make the next run.
Isn't Jackson going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah, he'll be here tomorrow.
He'll be here tomorrow.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, we got a job for Jackson tomorrow.
Casey's.
Jackson was excited about the weekend. He was texting me about being at the game.
I saw him yesterday at Sam's Club.
Is that right?
Pushing carts.
Really?
Grinding
Did you
it
help?
out.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Grinding it out. Well, sometimes you got to grind it out. You know? Are we going to
just like he is here for you?
That's right.
Are we going to let this show pass without mentioning that Bart shaved his beard? His beard is gone.
Clearly, we're not.
He's clean shaven. He's been making fun of me all morning. I don't think anyone's got more glee.
Fun of you.
No one's got more glee out of anything than Bart reading that bogus story.
It was beautiful. It was a touching
beautiful.
tribute.
I still can't get over the fact you can make something up so eloquent, and it finds its way on the internet, and so many people read it that they were texting you over the weekend, and it came to your attention. Channel Ben got up at 3:45 to call the show this morning. He was on hold before we even got here to congratulate you. And you were like backtracking. Oh, no, that's not real.
But it's not real.
So then Bart does what he does, and he goes into the deep darkness of the web.
The dark web.
And he finds it. And then he reads the story, and it is remarkable. Remarkable how it was so spot on, too.
Hang on, I'm discovering something new every time.
A Lifetime
I look at
Achievement Award.
No, this one's not about you, Chuck. There is a more news section on here, like an additional headline you can click on. Razorback Nation is all smiles today as beloved Arkansas football legend Talon Green and his wife shared the joyous news that they've welcomed adorable twin babies into the world. No, if you're watching online, here, it's right here.
Wow.
Hey,
that is not true.
What can I say? Those are my people.
We've been warning you about the internet and people you listen to or watch on the internet. This is what can
actual
happen.
fake news. We've gotten to the point now where when somebody says something that paints us in a bad light, we say it's fake news. No, it's just somebody with a different opinion. That is actual fake news right there. That is a fake article.
How do you know?
It's a fake because it quotes me. It quotes me and what I said at the acceptance speech, and there was no acceptance speech. There was no ceremony.
Maybe you blacked out.
There was no nothing.
I mean,
it never happened.
This is such a sweet quote.
It never
Chuck,
happened.
I mean,
not that I wouldn't have said it.
Would you have said it?
Never happened.
Would you have said? Well, read the quote one more time.
This is Chuck.
Yeah, this
Quoting
is his
Chuck.
acceptance speech for a Lifetime
And an
Achievement
emotional.
Award. A Lifetime Achievement
an
Award.
emotional acceptance.
And best play-by-play
For football.
Voice of
football
victory.
category.
Voice of victory.
Voice of victory.
Where he dominated. What the hell? He dominated the ESPN Awards?
There's a hashtag here that's hashtag Chuck Crowned.
Let's get it trending.
I really do.
let's
hate
do
it.
it.
Oh,
Let's
my
do that.
God.
So this is I'm quoting Chuck once again.
This is so funny.
By the way, this all started with Bart being clean-shaven.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I've been trying to redirect the conversation away from me all morning, and Bart just keeps bringing
No,
it
it's
back.
great. It's great. What's the quote?
yeah,
So what did Chuck say at his acceptance
This is
speech?
Chuck, quote, "This award belongs to the people of Arkansas. I'm just honored to be your voice, and I'll keep calling them as long as I'm blessed to do so. Woo Pig forever."
Oh, it's just beautiful. And emotional.
Really touching.
Which is more touching, that story or the kid with a baseball at the game last night? It's close.
It's an emotional Chuck Barrett. An article was written, and none of it's true.
That's right.
About Chuck winning, dominating the ESPN Awards.
Yeah, he took home the ESPN
Dual.
Lifetime Achievement Award in
Dual
collegiate
awards.
sports broadcasting.
According to AI,
and
dual awards
best
is the
play-
term you're looking for.
Best play-by-play broadcaster football.
And one more time before we hit the break, could you just give me the ESPN unnamed lead panelist quote?
Yeah.
This is a quote from ESPN's lead panelist
Unnamed.
during the awards broadcast. Quote, "Chuck doesn't just call the game, he lives it. His voice is a Razorback heartbeat.
Hard to tell.
His authenticity, consistency, and Southern grit
That's
make
it.
him a legend."
Hard to tell who had a better weekend. The
Hats
Hogs
off
or
to
Chuck.
Chuck Barrett.
Yeah. Hey, whatever moment you're celebrating, whether it's Chuck Fake Awards or the Hogs or regional, mark your moments at Blakeman's. Go in and experience what is nothing but celebration at Blakeman's. It's where Arkansas
getting a
gets
purple
engaged.
bag?
Yes.
Am I getting a
Well,
purple
you
bag?
have to. You got to get you want a pinky ring?
No, I don't want a pinky ring.
Well,
How about Bart's
maybe a
watch? How about Bart's watch?
My specific watch.
Let's go into Blakeman's.
I
We'll
owe
sit
it to you
down
now?
at Cafe B. We'll have some Onyx lattes and maybe a glass of Prosecco. And we'll talk about your awards and what would be appropriate. Maybe we'll go to one of those private rooms where they can show you the really high-end stuff. Yeah. And we'll sit back there and we'll say, you want this one or this? We got to mark the moment. It's the occasion. Blakeman's Fine Jewelry. It's more than jewelry. It's your story.
It is.
Just ask Chuck. When you went into the Hall of Fame, I think it was at a Western Sizzler.
I think it was. It was at a motel. It wasn't a hotel. It was a motel.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Hey, summer's heating up, and Splash Car Wash is keeping your ride looking fresh with a special deal just for listeners of the Chuck and Bo Show. Right now, buy one Best Wash and get 2 free. One for you, one for your spouse, one for a friend, or just keep them all. It's an easy way to stay clean, cool, and cruising all summer long. That's 3 top-tier washes for just $27. Text Splash Car Wash to 22322 to access this exclusive online-only offer. Chevy of Fayetteville is kicking off end-of-the-year savings this May. Drive home a new 2025 Chevy Silverado starting at just $34,000. Get up to $6,000 off MSRP on a new 2025 Tahoe or Colorado. And up to $13,000 off a new 2025 Crew Cab Silverado. Don't miss these huge savings. Only at Chevy of Fayetteville. Together, let's drive.
Oaklawn is your hot springs escape. Enjoy plush comfort, upscale dining, and Arkansas's only Forbes 4-star rated spa at our luxury hotel. And with easy access to Hot Springs National Park and sparkling lakes, Oaklawn is your home base for everything the region has to offer. Come stay, play, and get away at Oaklawn, a Forbes Travel Guide recommended hotel. Make your reservation at oaklawn.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
If you have sleep disorder breathing, it's important to treat it properly.
Sleep is probably God's gift of medicine that we really don't utilize enough. If you have obstructive sleep apnea, it needs to be treated. There are some potential surgical solutions that can help you that actually work today.
Dr. Bolding at Precedent Center for Facial and Dental Medicine provides surgical solutions that open the airway, allowing you to breathe better.
Hey, give us a call, 479-755-3000, or log on to our website, precedent.com, Precedent, and we'd love to help.
First Security is about more than great banking. Yes, we provide the financial expertise, digital tools, and everything else you need when you need it. But we also go all in on local support with friendly professionals, plus convenient locations all across the state. Because we believe personal banking is better banking. Visit fsbank.com for details. That's fsbank.com for friendly, local banking with First Security. Bank better. Member FDIC.
With rainy season here and summer just around the corner, make sure your gutters are ready. Hogcroft Gutters, locally owned, with over 30 years of experience, does it all. Seamless gutters made on site, trenching, and French drain. Fully licensed and insured with a 20-year warranty on every job. Serving Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And if you're outside those areas, just give them a call or a text. And for a free inspection, visit hoggutters.com. That's hoggutters.com.
You want to talk about washed? You're being brainwashed by idiots. You're following idiots.
The Chuck and Bo Show.
Chuck and Bo Show, 8:53. Good morning. We're brought to you in part by Oaklawn Sports. A lot going on there this month. They got the Boats and Bucks giveaway at the casino, so don't forget to ask about that. If you go in there, you could earn some points to get enrolled in a big giveaway. They got the headliner entertainment going. You can just go to oaklawn.com to see what's coming at the event center. And if you're playing any baseball this weekend or anything else that's happening, NBA finals are coming up Sign up for the Oaklawn Sports app if you don't already have it. New customers can earn up to $1,000 in bonus bets. Oaklawn Sports app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store to start wagering on all the action. I'm going to give you some numbers in a second. It's Arkansas's best sports betting app. You can bet with the brand you trust. Bet with Oaklawn Sports. Bart, Arkansas's odds have shrunk since the beginning of the season. We've watched it fall every week. It was up there, plus 700, plus 800 at the beginning of the year, all the way down to what now?
Arkansas now plus 275 to win the whole thing.
Wow.
They are the favorite. LSU plus 400. LSU's playing for their lives tonight.
And we got some dogs tonight.
Against Little Rock.
If you want to bet some of these games.
Little Rock plus 850 on the money line. If you want to sprinkle a little something, you got to throw a little sprinkle there.
Trojans.
Oklahoma plus 175 against North Carolina. Ole Miss minus 360 against Murray State. Tennessee minus 305 against Wake Forest. Wake Forest plus 220 in that one.
I'm getting rich tonight.
I want Wake Forest to win.
Me too.
Yeah, sure.
I'm pulling for Wake Forest. I'm pulling for Little Rock. I'd like to see Oklahoma beat North Carolina. And go Murray State. Beat Ole Miss.
Today is National Leave the Office Early Day.
See you later.
So if you needed a reason, there it is. And you can grab a National Rotisserie Chicken on the way out.
There you go.
Enjoy your Monday. We'll try and do it tomorrow again.
At the Stonebreaker Hotel, we believe in the art of gathering. Whether over a thoughtfully prepared meal or a quiet